Hey, it's Kyle Shannon with the AI Learning Lab. Welcome, everybody. Here we talk about all things AI. Looks like there's a couple of people trickling in, and they got rid of my dual camera feature, so that's a pain in the butt. If you're new here, welcome. And let me flip the camera. So if you're new to AI, go to these sites. Well, go to the top one anyway. The top site there is ChatGPT's official website. If you've not played with ChatGPT, go there. This is the AI Learning Lab. My name is Kyle Shannon. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm the co-founder and CEO of a company called Storyvine. I'm fairly deep in the waters on this generative AI stuff. And my channel is to demystify, talk about this stuff, answer questions, educate. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate that. Hey, Sonia. I'm going to try something new tonight. Normally, I try to answer every question. I'm going to just keep the questions rolling live. I also don't have my dual camera thing. TikTok turned off that feature for me for some reason, so I can't show you my screen, but I'll flip back and forth if people have questions. If you have questions about, hey, Emilio's wife, if you have questions about AI, drop them in the comments. I will do my best to answer them. I'll show what I can. Let me flip my camera. This is a pain. They changed everything on me. I'm an old man set in my ways. What am I supposed to do here? Got a nice tea? Or is it something stronger? I don't know. It's 32 ounces, whatever it is, so I hope it's not stronger. Welcome, everybody. If you're new to AI, this channel's about that. I like talking about that. I answer questions about that. These sites, the top one there is the official ChatGPT site. If you've not played with ChatGPT, I strongly encourage you to go do that. Right below it, bing.com, that's Microsoft's search engine, but if you click the chat button, that's also ChatGPT. It's GPT-4. It's free and it's connected to the internet. And I can take the comments on Discord or another platform and answer them here. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. So let me turn on something else. So if you go to I started a thing called the AI Salon. We meet every other week. We have an online meeting and we meet in person here in Denver. And if you go to that URL, there's a link tree there. And in that link tree is the link to the Discord server. So we have a Discord community there, so you can ask questions there. That's not a bad idea, Kevin. And what else? If you have questions, pop them into the comments below. Hang on, I got to flip my camera again because they took away my dual cameras. What am I going to do? Does TikTok have an API? I'm pretty sure they do. I have not, and I don't think I have any interest in developing anything for it, but maybe I will. I could probably do it on Zapier. I used Bing today with GPT-4 feature. It's amazing. Thanks for telling us about it. Absolutely. Yeah, what's nice about it is it's free, right? And if you go to normal ChatGPT, which, oh, dang it, I'm going to have to keep flipping my camera here. If you go to normal ChatGPT, the GPT-4 is for pay. So you have to pay for GPT Plus to get access to it. Bing is free. OpenAI is making some big movements. They just added some things. I'm not answering that last comment there, Scuba Brett. You're trying to get me in trouble. I'm not going to do it. I am not going to fall for your wily ways, Scuba Brett. Never. I won't do it. Do I think there will be virtual companionship? Yes. Am I going to answer your question? No. If you're new here, my name is Kyle Shannon. This is the AI Learning Lab. If you have questions about AI, drop them in the comments below. Hair growth geek. Are you here for a reason? Is it that my forehead is ever expanding? Is that why you came? You're supposed to be asking me questions about AI, not talking about my follicles. Nuggets fan. I live in Denver. We won the championship last night, so I'm a fair weather fan. I mean, basketball's cool. I mean, watching Jokic is like watching. I saw a really funny meme where someone was acting like Napoleon Dynamite, just awkward and just like throwing the ball up, and they all just swish. He's totally like, oh, Comcast. Oh, Xfinity. Denver wins, and suddenly Kyle's a Nuggets fan. Is this an easier way to make an avatar and sync it with your voice? Is what I'm doing here? Best free phone app to use. For ChatGPT, I would just hold. For ChatGPT, if I were you, I would just go to, on my phone, just point your browser at that top URL. Or at you could get the Bing app. Or you could just point your Chrome browser or your Safari browser to chat.openai.com. I'd use that rather than a phone app because it's got more features on it. There is an official ChatGPT app, but it's really hard to find in the App Store. So if you want the official ChatGPT app, go to openai.com. And they changed the homepage. It's not on the homepage anymore. Let's see. Let's see where it is. I gotta find it now. Product. ChatGPT. You too can make money with ChatGPT. Okay. So if you go to OpenAI, go to their product menu, go to ChatGPT, not GPT-4, sorry, ChatGPT, and then at the bottom left-hand corner, it says download in the App Store. So if you click on that, it'll take you over to that's the official app. Any other app that says ChatGPT in the App Store or anything in Android right now is fake bullshit stuff. Yeah, they've completely changed the homepage. Yeah. Is there an easy way? Is there an easy way to make an avatar and sync it with your voice? I think you might have reached out to me, Kevin. I know there's a way to do it. I haven't done it myself yet, so I don't actually know what's the easiest way to do it. The thing that I've made is one where I'm just taking a still picture and you can record your voice and it'll animate to that, but it's not in real time. I think what you were asking about was doing it in real time. I know it can be done because there's apps out there that are doing it. Best option for transcribing right now is OpenAI's Whisper. And you can, if you go to OpenAI's developer portal, which is platform.openai.com. Hang on, that's Play-Doh. Oh, wait, hang on. Let me flip my camera since they took away dual camera for me. If you go to platform.openai.com, that takes you to this thing. And then, boy, you can't see it at all. Hold, please. Zooming in. In the upper right-hand corner of the chat window is this little microphone, and that's Whisper. So if you click on that, it allows you to upload an audio or video file or even just start recording, and that will transcribe your stuff. And then there's versions of this you can download and run on a machine. There's versions of this you can, call from OpenAI. But yeah, that's what I'm using in my current company is Storyvine, and we do transcriptions in there, and we're using Whisper for that, and it's really good. The transcriptions are not horrible. Hope it's not too expensive. The version that we have, because we're running it locally, we just installed it locally. It's not costing us anything. Well, that's not true. It costs our developers time to do it, to build it. Welcome, everybody. I am thrown for a loop because I don't have, normally right here I've got a little window that's got my back camera on it, and they took that feature away from me. So it's called Whisper. OpenAI is the company. Whisper is the transcription service. And if you go to platform.openai.com/playground, in that chat window, the little microphone in the upper right-hand corner, that's where you can upload things to transcribe them. It's pretty slick. It's pretty slick. And it's really good. And it can do different languages as well. The other thing you can do is, we haven't installed this yet, but we're going to be able to translate English into about 120 different languages. It does subtitles, does all sorts of stuff. It's pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. If you're new here, my name's Kyle Shannon. This is the AI Learning Lab. I'm an entrepreneur, CEO of a company called Storyvine, which is a video technology company. In the mid '90s, I was I was there early for the early days of the World Wide Web, and I started one of the first digital agencies, a company called Agency.com. And the early days of the web and the early days of this AI, I'm counting that starting like 6 months ago. The launch of ChatGPT kind of marks the beginning of a new era. And it's very, very reminiscent of the early days of the web. So it's really exciting times right now. So that's why I have this channel. That's why I'm talking about this stuff. And if you have questions about AI, pop them in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. Trying to think what else might be good. Just sitting around talking. What are some things that happened? OpenAI just updated all of their APIs. So if you're a developer, the OpenAI interfaces for GPT, you can now call functions, which for the rest of us doesn't really mean crap, but it's kind of like you can have ChatGPT with plugins, but instead of calling a plugin, you're actually calling some service. So you could basically point it at, APIs that you use for your business and build that right into a ChatGPT application. So it's pretty powerful stuff is coming. If you have questions, pop them in the comments below. Do my best to answer them. I heard Bard was blocked by the European Union over privacy concerns. Interesting. I hadn't heard that. Let me go take a look at that and see if is that news that's out there. Let's see. EU Bard ban. Google Bard blocks all European countries. When was that? Yesterday. It was announced that Google would be undergoing... Hold, please. Let's go learn together. It would be undergoing a massive expansion, bringing AI chatbot experiment to 180 countries. However, what Google didn't mention is that Bard still isn't available in the European Union. Last month, Italy banned ChatGPT. We knew that. They unbanned it after Sam Altman called them, said, "Hey, Italy." And whatever he told them, they were fine with, so they turned it back on. Yeah, interesting. I mean, I think this is going to continue to happen for a while, but I honestly don't know, like when Google rolls Bard into all of their Office suite, and when Microsoft rolls OpenAI into all of Office 365, is that feature just not going to be available in certain countries? Like, I don't quite know how that's going to work. And then with the open source large language models, I'm not quite sure how this is all going to work. Hair Growth Geek was just talking about this at work. Wait, I'm going back. Any AI apps for HIPAA compliant data sharing? We do a lot of work with pharma. So we're not HIPAA compliant, but we deal with PHI all the time. So I don't know. Well, you can run your own instance. So OpenAI in conjunction with Microsoft, you can do standalone virtual machines for your company, and then you can manage all of your own HIPAA compliance that way. I assume you could get a HIPAA compliant virtual machine through Microsoft Azure. But if you're doing any sort of calls to OpenAI's API, according to our lawyer, their terms are kind of squishy. Now they're coming out with ChatGPT Business, where Champ is protecting us from the neighbors. Moms and strollers, very dangerous, apparently. Champ! It doesn't help. It just makes me feel better yelling at him. Okay. If you wanted to invest, what would some companies to buy stock? I don't know. I can't. Listen, I'm horrible with money, so don't ask me about investment. I would pay attention to who's making moves. Microsoft is acting like a startup, and they're a thorn in Google's side right now. Google's struggling and playing catch up. And I think the search advertising model is at threat, and I think they know that, and I think that's why they're scrambling to get their AI shit together. NVIDIA just hit $1 trillion market cap. They're not going away anytime soon. OpenAI is interesting but not investable. I really like the company Anthropic, but I don't think they're investable. I don't know. I wouldn't bet against Apple. I think Apple's got the hardware to be able to do a lot of this machine learning and AI stuff locally on devices. So from a privacy perspective, when it comes time for actual privacy and actual authentication of content, I think a company like Apple's they have the ecosystem to be able to nail it. So when Apple gets into the AI game, they're going to probably get in right around the time when the 2024 presidential election in the U.S. has hit fevered pitch, and there's misinformation everywhere and deepfakes everywhere, and people are like, we need privacy and we need authentication. Apple will just step up and go, here you go, put it on a silver platter. So that'll probably happen there. All right. Oh, you're an online pharmacy. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I don't like right now. Like what I would work on until there might be. Here, take a look. This is for you, hair growth person. What's your handle? Hair growth geek. Go to that bottom URL, futurepedia.io. That's a directory of just like an infinite number of AI tools. See if anyone has done the HIPAA thing in there, or just search for privacy or HIPAA. See if anything shows up there. My strong guess is that we're kind of too early right now for actual professional applications. Everything right now, like think of the generative AI industry right now as just we're in the spit and duct tape phase. Like shit's launching, 2 or 3 major projects a day are launching. People are like, here's the next best shiny thing. And then you realize, oh, it's like a 19-year-old in his mom's basement, putting out that thing that looked all professional. So there's a lot of that going on right now. But I would go look at Futurepedia. That might help. Despite widespread reporting that the market expected Fed not to raise rates, Bard kept saying otherwise. Oh, so listen, do not expect any of these large language models to do anything resembling the truth. They hallucinate like mad. And I'm not sure if Bard's connected to the internet or not. But Bard's a mess. Bard's not very good right now. I would use ChatGPT. So if you want to use ChatGPT, go to that top URL, chat.openai.com. If you haven't used it, go use that. And then Bing is GPT-4 for free, and Poe lets you see a bunch of different models all in the same interface. And someone described it yesterday. Poe is like the play school of chat interfaces, which I thought was funny and pretty true. All right. Jasper won't retrain on your business data. Okay, that's cool. You can also turn off ChatGPT's training on your data. I'll show you how to do that. They changed that interface as well. Everything's changing all the time right now. But let me show you that. So if you're in ChatGPT, and you go to your settings down here and go settings, you have data controls, and then in here, you've got your chat history, which you can turn off, but they just move something. Hang on a sec. Clear all chats. Huh. That's very strange. Okay. There used to be a section in here that said download my data. So if you turn off your chat history and training so that they can't train on their data, it deletes all of your chat history. And there used to be a thing here that said you could download your data. They don't have that anymore. So this is the joy and wonder of cloud-based software, is that the thing that you took, a month to learn how to use, you log in the next time and it's like, no, that's different now. Like TikTok. I used to have a dual camera feature where I could put my laptop screen right here. That's gone. What are you going to do? This is just the world we live in. Hey, I thought that thing worked that way. It did. Where's the manual? We don't have manuals. Just figure it out yourself, you loser. All right. Thank you for the kind words. I appreciate that. I have great hair and a lovely forehead. Oh, not a 5-head. Thank you. I appreciate the forehead comment. It is getting larger, my forehead. So, I'm not saying it's a hair problem, but, I got to get some new toupee glue or something. Spilling crap all over myself. Welcome. If you're new here, my name's Kyle Shannon. This is the aiLL Learning Lab. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm not an AI or machine learning guy. I'm a business guy that likes to sort of take advantage of technology when it's kind of there for the masses. I did it in the early days of the World Wide Web, and started one of the early digital agencies, a company called agency.com. And the minute I saw this generative AI stuff, I started on the image side of the house. And then when ChatGPT came out, I was like, oh, this is something different, special, profound, game-changing. And had a big epiphany about it. And so I just went crazy. I started this TikTok channel. I started a newsletter. So my newsletter, I'll give you the info for that if you're curious, because it is valuable. We go through stuff. So let me turn off this stuff and on this stuff. So I started the AI Salon. So that's the link tree to the AI Salon is up at the top there. You can join our Discord. You can we have meetups every other week. And then if you go to TikTok, the Everyday AI News is our channel there, and there's links there to subscribe to the newsletter. So if you want to keep up with this stuff, what I can tell you running a newsletter is it is impossible to keep up with this stuff. It's impossible. It's like, I thought stuff was moving fast back in the mid-90s with the web stuff. That was sleepy compared to what's happening right now. It's crazy. It's crazy, I tell ya. So if you have questions about AI, drop it in there. Great webinar today. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That was the One Club thing. The fireside chat. It was a fireside. Well, it was a chat. There was no fire, unless you consider the burning phosphors. Well, we don't even have burning phosphors anymore. That's a CRT reference for you old people. The burning LEDs were the closest thing we had to a fire today. Your GPT has export. You know what? I have a feeling you're right. I have a feeling I just need to reload. Let me reload this ChatGPT. Maybe I even should log out and log back in. Log in. Log in, doggies. Down, 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 down. And I'm going to go to settings. And I'm going to go to data controls. Okay, now I've got it. Okay, so I was showing you this before. Okay, if in ChatGPT you want to be as secure as possible, chat history and training, you can turn that off. Now, if you turn it off, it deletes all of your chat history, which is why I haven't turned it off, because I want my chat history. So if you're going to turn that off, make sure you export your data, which is this thing right here. And then you'll get all your chat history and you can dump it into a Sheets file or something like that. So, and if you are new here, I don't think we have any new people here. Anyway, those are the top three are official ChatGPT site, Microsoft's Bing, that's GPT-4, and then Poe.com, which has 6 different chat models within it that you can play with. Google, DeepMind, OpenAI, and Anthropic have agreed to open their AI models to UK government for research and safety purposes. Ooh, that's really interesting, RetroPunk. Very cool. Let me flip my camera back. Why is my dual camera feature gone? I don't want it to be gone. I want things to work the way they used to work yesterday. No, the day before. If you didn't know it, I have a degree in acting. Come for the hair, stay for the idiocy. What's the AI that makes? What's the AI that makes app? What's that? I don't know. I don't know what words are supposed to be in that sentence, Tarfari89. But if you rephrase that in a form that I could understand it as a native English speaker, I would appreciate it. I don't know quite what that means. Are you on Discord? If so, could you show everyone the OpenAI prompt library? Yeah, I am on Discord. You're assuming that I've been to the OpenAI Discord channel recently, and I haven't, but no time like the present. So if you're new to Discord entirely, this is Discord. These little circles down the left here are servers. So one of these is the OpenAI server. I forget what the logo looks like. One of the problems with these is that they all have little icons, but you got to roll over them. And I forget what the OpenAI one looks like. That's it. Okay. So if I go to OpenAI, and then once you're in the server, then you have all these little discussion areas, and then the discussion is to the right, and who's on the servers to the left, and you can turn that on or off. So just there's the conversations, and let's see, prompt engineering. Oh, prompt library. Okay. Oh yeah, this is pretty cool. I have been here before. Okay, so go to Discord, sign up. Go to openai.com. Okay, geez. Oh, Lordy people, let's have an ADD moment, shall we? Let's go back to the internets. Let's go back to the interwebs, and we're going to go to openai.com. So if you want to find OpenAI's Discord server, I don't know how we're going to do that. Oh, I know how we're going to do that. We're going to search for it. OpenAI Discord. Okay. Discord.com/invite/OpenAI. All right, so go Google OpenAI Discord, and then that will bring you here, and you basically sign up, you follow their little instructions, and then if you click on all the things that you have to click on to join, then you'll see all these comments down below here. You can ask questions about ChatGPT, GPT-3, 4, and then there's prompt engineering, which are discussions about prompt engineering. And then there's the prompt library, which is a nicely organized. There's GPT-4 prompts, ChatGPT prompts, GPT-3, multi-purpose prompts. And so lots and lots of things there. The other thing that I show on my this little fancy picture here, that fourth thing down, prompts.chat, that is similar to the prompts library in Discord. So let's go take a look at that. It doesn't look as nice, certainly on the TikTok, but it's called Awesome ChatGPT Prompts. The first part of this document explains to you about prompting, and there's a free ebook and there's a paid ebook. I don't know what that's about, but whatever. There's prompting resources. Then they talk about the ChatGPT app. And then it goes into this long list of prompts to tell ChatGPT to act like a certain thing. And it will. It'll act like an Excel spreadsheet or a travel guide or a plagiarism checker or a character from your favorite movie, or a storyteller, right? This just literally goes on and on and on and on. So if you are stuck trying to figure out, well, what would I ever do with ChatGPT? Go to prompts.chat and they will tell you what to do with ChatGPT. And if you hear anyone on TikTok or YouTube go, make money with ChatGPT, ignore them. They're just trying to make money off you. They don't know how to fucking make money. They wouldn't be making videos about making money on ChatGPT if they were making money on ChatGPT. Did you ever think about that? Idiots. Not you, them. Those kind of people drive me crazy. They make me crazy. They make me crazy. They make me insane. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. And I don't know if I told you this before, but I don't like it. Thanks for the demo. You're welcome. If you have questions, comments about AI, things like that, pop them in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. If you want to make fun of my looks, that seems to be a popular activity here in the AI Learning Lab. Where do I start to learn about AI? That is an awesome question, and that is why I made this Photoshop file. Because I think still, and listen, when this changes, I will change this graphic. I have the power. I've got editing capabilities on this particular graphic. I think the best place to start learning about AI is right here, chat.openai.com. That's the official ChatGPT website. It looks like this. Well, not that. When you go to your settings, it looks like that. It looks like this, where you got your chats over here to the left, and you got this giant nothing window. This is what this window represents, is all of the possibility of all of humanity. And if you're using the free version, it's called GPT Turbo, I think they call it. If you pay for it, it's GPT 3.5, because I don't know. I don't know why they name it different. But anyway, but you can just, if you've never used this before, you can do things like explain, let's see, the theory of relativity as if I were a fifth grader in a country song. Bang. And it will write you a song. So if you have never played with this tool, these are what I like to call parlor tricks, where you just tell it to do something stupid and then pick your jaw up off the floor when you realize how fast it just did it. Well, gather round, young cowpoke. I'll sing you a tune about a mighty smart fella, a genius named Einstein. He's a loon. He had a wild idea about how the world goes round, called theory of relativity. It's a scientific sound. Yeehaw, it's a theory of relativity. Buckle up and hold on tight. It's a wild ride through space and time. It'll blow your mind, all right. So there's a little Charlie Daniels action here. So it'll do that. You could also say, make a table comparing the theory of relativity with quantum mechanics. I don't even know if that's possible. Well, apparently it is. There's your table. All right. Like what was, description. The focus of relativity is gravity and large-scale phenomenon, and quantum mechanics, particles and microscopic phenomena. So, and it can write code. You could say, write me a Python application that lets me play with math formulas of these two theories. Don't know if that's possible. Certainly. Here you go. And it writes you an application. So if you've not played with ChatGPT and really started to get your head around the remarkable power of this tool, that's the place to start. And then, then after that, then it starts to get serious, because it's, for me, like one of my favorite moments is when someone's like, I heard about this AI stuff, but aren't the robots just going to kill us? And then you're like, yeah, that's the movies, and they might. But in the meantime, why don't you go take a look at this? And then they go, holy crap. And then they play with it, and they're like, oh, my God, did you know it could do this? And they all talk like that until they've seen it, and then they talk not like that. What I would then do is I would say, think about what you do, what you're interested in, and start playing with ChatGPT or discovering other tools. Just start getting curious about it and start doing what you do or things that you're interested in with the tool. So if you're really into gardening, have it create you, I don't know, a list of plants to plant for your region at that given time of the year, or a way to battle pests, or have it write you a grocery list, or have it help you start the novel you've been procrastinating for 20 years. That's where I'd start. All right, let's see. Any sources for Mid-Journey prompts for creating graphics to use for design elements? Yes. Well, so let me show you a couple of things here for Mid-Journey. So for those of you who don't know, think of ChatGPT as words, and then when it comes to pictures, the tools, the major tools are Mid-Journey, Stable Diffusion, Adobe Firefly, and DALL-E, which is OpenAI's. Mid-Journey, in my opinion, is by far the best in terms of quality. Stable Diffusion is the best in terms of developer community and innovation. Firefly is the best for commercial usage. All of them require prompting. So one thing I'm going to show you here, I'm going to go to Poe. So this is Poe, Poe.com. And it's just like ChatGPT, where you have a little chatty thing at the bottom and a window at the top. Down the left-hand side here, you've got different models. You've got Sage, which is their model. You've got GPT-4. You've got 3 Claude models, this is Anthropic. The ones that say subscribed here are only if you pay for this monthly subscription for Poe. And then you have Claude Instant and Claude GPT. Now, everything below that are bots. And one of the cool things about Poe is there's a little thing here where you can create your own bot. They make it really easy for people to make bots. I've made a bunch. I made a Sling Blade bot and a Yoda bot and a Shakespeare bot, but 2 other people made Mid-Journey bots. So this one's called MJ Captain. And I think you said you want graphics to use for design elements. So I want a sheet of design elements for modern graphics design. Let's just see what that does. So you type it in there, and then it'll rewrite your crappy little prompt with one that's quite specific. So this says a sheet of design elements for modern graphic design with minimalist aesthetic inspired by the art of Wassily Kandinsky, which is kind of cool, using a monochromatic color palette with pops of bright yellow, typography mastery by Paula Scher, with a focus on geometric shapes such as circles, squares, triangles, incorporating. So this is actually kind of interesting. So what we'll do now, I'm just going to copy this. And if you want to go to that one in particular is called MJ Captain. So if you go to poe.com/MJ Captain, that'll take you to this Mid-Journey bot. There's another one that's just /Midjourney, so poe.com/Midjourney. That'll take you to these bots. They're kind of slick. So now we're going to hop over to Discord. So back to Discord for those of it sounds like there's some new people here. My name's Kyle Shannon. This is the AI Learning Lab. Welcome. We're just geeking out right now on Mid-Journey. Someone wants to do some designing, some fancy designing. So I am in the AI Salon Discord, and within our Discord we've got a Mid-Journey channel. It's called Mid-Journey Play. So I'm going to scroll here to the bottom. Allie has been very busy. She's been doing a lot in here. These are cool. I mean, this is some of the quality Mid-Journey's quality is just sick. It's just really, really good. Man, she's been making a lot. Ooh, that's a cool one. And so the way you make an image in Mid-Journey is you type /imagine, and then it will pop up a prompt box. And I just copied that from the Pobot. So I'm just going to pop it in there and hit return. And so now that's been submitted to Midjourney, and within a few minutes, it'll start generating 4 different images that are based on that. And we can watch them here together. If it takes too long, I will. Yeah, there it comes. So one of the things you'll notice, the way these diffusion models work with image generation, is they start out as kind of blurry images, and then they do a series of denoising algorithms on top of them. So they've kind of averaged together like, hundreds, if not thousands of images into these blurry, noisy images, and then they just denoise them in the direction of that prompt that I asked for. And this is looking like this is going to be pretty cool. And you could obviously change the colors that were mentioned in that prompt, or the shapes, or the artists that were mentioned. These models understand a lot. I'm going to show you one more resource for that. But let's go. This is at 78%. This is at 93%. There's usually the jump from 93% to finished is usually really strong and really good. So we'll see what it does here. Yeah, it really tightened it up. So let's go. We'll go kind of zoom in on these. So, I mean, if you want design inspiration, or if you wanted to do, say, patterns for something on Etsy, for example, yeah, these are pretty slick. They're really good. Then what you can do, so let me go back to Discord. So when you're in Discord, so the Midjourney bot comes back and it gives you this 4-up, it's 4 different designs. And then they put these weird little wonky, like U1 2 3 4 V1 2 3 4, and then the reload button. If you just hate all these and you just want to re-roll it, that's what that button is. The U stands for upscale, and then it's 1 2 3 4. So if you want to upscale any of these, you can. But what I generally do is I'll find something I like. Like I like 1 and 4 for me, kind of speak to me. So what I'll generally do is I'll say, give me some variations. The V stands for variations. Give me variations for 1 and variations for 4. And it'll basically pop a new prompt in there, and it'll keep them basically the same, but give me slight variations. And then I'll usually upscale from there. So let's see, is this one done? No, that one's still going. Yeah, there's slight differences here. Like the little circles here are different. These little pieces are different. Like this one's got a little halftone thing going on. There's 83%. Bum, bum, bum. What'd you do tonight? I watched some guy reload his computer about 30 times. How long did you do that for? I don't know, 4 hours or so. All right, so yeah, this is cool. Like this one's got like little trees. I like that one. So we're gonna do U1. We're gonna upscale 1 on this sheet, and then down here, I don't know. I like the 4th one. We're gonna upscale 4. And so there's the upscaled version for that one, and then there's the upscaled version for that one. So that's kind of how you do Midjourney, and that's a way to do those prompts. There's the other thing. I promised you I would show you another resource. If you go to openart.ai, just making sure this is right. Yeah. Go to openart.ai/promptbook. openart.ai/promptbook. It will take you to this thing. Now, this is ostensibly made for Stable Diffusion. I wonder if they've got one for Midjourney. Anyway, this is like a 96-page PowerPoint presentation that teaches you all about prompting for these image generation tools. A lot of what you learn in here can be applied to any of the image generation tools. There might be slight differences in like, how you call certain elements, but, start by asking a list of questions. Do you want a photo or a painting? What's the subject? Is it a person? Is it an animal? Is it a landscape? What details do you want to add? Special lighting, environment, color scheme, point of view, background. And then you just keep going through this thing, and it's just like it keeps peeling the onion. So they're showing you examples of what might change. It's talking about the order of words being important. And then it kind of goes into this world of modifiers. And this is, for me, this was like an eye-opening section, because like just within photography, this first page, photography prompt mix and match, it understands so many different terms like close-up, Polaroid, monochrome, long exposure, ring light, lenses. It understands what a telephoto lens is, or a 24 millimeter lens. It understands what bokeh is. And if you keep going, it shows you, here are the different kinds of images that you'll get if you use these different terms. And so this document is just like rabbit hole after rabbit hole after rabbit hole, that whether you're using Midjourney or Stable Diffusion or DALL-E or any of them, you can just start digging in. Use different art mediums, right? Watercolors, graffiti, oil painting, clay sculpture, paper cut. It understands artists and different categories of artists. And, it's not just modern artists. I know there's a lot of bad press about it stealing people's artwork. But it understands like historical artists. Like you can get an art education just digging through the different art styles and getting these image generation tools to create things for you. So I know that was a long answer, and it looks like we got some new folks here. Let me flip my camera around and introduce myself. If you're new, my name is Kyle Shannon. This is the AI Learning Lab. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm the CEO of a company called Storyvine. Let me change one thing here. Oh, wait, let me flip it back over. Hold. I founded a thing called the AI Salon, which if you want to join a community of people curious about AI, we've got a Discord server. We meet every other week and just geek out on this stuff. And I also have an AI newsletter. That's our Twitter handle. If you go to Twitter and go to Everyday AI News, you can get a link there. And yeah, what this channel's about is really just demystifying AI. I'm an entrepreneur more than an AI specialist. I've only been doing the AI thing for about a year, so I am new to AI, but I'm very experienced with playing with things like the early days of the World Wide Web, and now I'm geeking out on the early days of AI because I think it's very, very similar and parallel. Can I write code and sell it? If you write code that does something cool and people want to buy it, sure. Or if you want to write code and people will pay you to write that code, yes. I got a children's book by ChatGPT, but I don't know where or how to get the illustrations for the book, I assume. What I just showed you, Midjourney. You can also, dang it, I missed my dual cameras. Another place that you can make images for free is if you go to bing.com and then you go bing.com/create. This is Microsoft's front end on top of DALL-E, which is the OpenAI image generation tool. I think this is by far the weakest of the tools, but it's free and easy. So bing.com/create. And what happened there? What happened? That was weird. Hold. All right. I don't know what happened there. Okay. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go children's book illustration of a chubby black and white dog with a red hat walking down Main Street. All right. And that should make us a chubby dog walking down Main Street in some sort of children's illustration look. We'll see. Bing's always a crapshoot. I feel like Midjourney's one that when I go there and show people, it's okay. That's not a chubby dog. That's like a Macy's Day Parade obese dog. So let me get rid of chubby. Let me take chubby out of there and recreate. So But yeah, so this is a way that you could make images for your book. Is it okay to store AI text responses on to my database? I'm using one with their API service. I think using their API service is safer than ChatGPT, because ChatGPT is just a really thin, quickly put together piece of software. It's getting better, but right now it's kind of doing that. Why am I dead naming Muhammad Ali? My Cassius Clay shirt. This is Basquiat, baby. That's Basquiat. Is this backwards for you all, or is this normal? Because if it's, are you able to read this, or are the letters backwards? Let me know, because I'll fix it. Dead naming Muhammad Ali. I don't even know what dead naming means. Let's go ask ChatGPT what dead naming means. New chat. Hang on. You get to witness this too. Oh, it's backwards. Okay, wait. So I'm going to mirror my video. Bang. All right. Is that better? Is that normal? You can read it now? Cassius Clay? Yes? Yes? That's Basquiat. Isn't that a cool illustration? Come on. Come on. How cool is that? But I don't know what dead naming is. Can you give thoughts on Midjourney? Yeah, I just did. Midjourney's the bomb. Midjourney is of the image generation tools, it's the one. Oh, let me flip my camera around. Not comment. I don't want to comment. I want to flip my camera. Come on, ChatGPT. Come on, TikTok. What is dead naming? Dead naming refers to the act of using the birth name, or previous name of a transgender or non-binary person. Well, that's not Muhammad Ali. All right, it's a gender thing. I don't know, but dead naming. But I'm not dead naming him. I'm just wearing a T-shirt because I like Basquiat and I like Muhammad Ali. All right, flipping the camera back around. Hey, everybody. My name is Kyle Shannon, AI Learning Lab here. Happy to chat about anything AI. Ask me questions. You're also free to troll me and tell me that I look like Rosie O'Donnell, because you do anyway, so might as well invite it. I think my favorite was I was scrolling TikTok and thought I saw Alec Baldwin, but he got fat. That's it. That's a compliment? All right. Can I give my thoughts on Midjourney? I think it's the best of all of the image things, although the drag about Midjourney is that you still have to... Oh, there's the Basquiat. See? The thing about Midjourney is you have to do it within Discord. So if you're not comfortable with Discord, not only do you need to learn Midjourney, you need to learn Discord, which for normal human beings is a pain in the ass. It sucks. I know that they're going to be doing a website at some point, but I wish they'd get fucking on it. Stable Diffusion, also really powerful. Because it's open source, the developer community is developing all sorts of stuff for it, but you still got to be pretty geeky. If you want to use Midjourney and you're not geeky, then get on the wait list for, if it's still waitlisted, a thing called Leonardo.ai. Let me flip the camera back around here. Leonardo.ai. And it is a super cool web front end for Stable Diffusion that's very, very sophisticated. It allows you to even do things like train, let's see, fine-tune models, is this? Yeah, your models. So like I trained it on some of my images, but I also trained it, I'm a photographer, so I trained it on some of my cloud photographs, and now I can say, use this model. And so anything that I create in here will basically use my photographs as kind of a basis. So if I say dramatic sunset over the Rocky Mountains, dramatic sunset over the Rocky Mountains, my dog is pissed. It will now do a picture, but it should, if it's still working right, include my dramatic cloud skies that I do with the actual camera. Bum, 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 ba-dum. What'd you do tonight? Oh, waited for a guy loading a web page. That sounds exciting. How long are you doing that for? 3 hours. Interesting life you're leading. Thanks, Marge. Oh, look at the drama. Look at the drama in the skies. Ooh, it sort of cut that cloud off vertically. That's weird. That does not look dissimilar to stuff that I photographed and how I retouch it. So anyway, that's that. I would also, if you're in the commercial, if you work for a big company, I would look really strongly at Adobe Firefly and the new generative AI within Photoshop, because it's really good. And the thing about what Adobe's doing is they've trained their models on public domain and Adobe stock images that they own the rights to. So they've made sure not to train their base model on copywritten stuff. So that means that images generated through Adobe's generative AI are going to be safe for commercial purposes, which if you work for a big company, all these other ones are a mess right now. So that's my thoughts on Midjourney. You ask me about one image platform, you get an answer on 4. Why? Because that's why we're here. I don't know. If RFID, what was that? Hold. Is this something about a chip in my skull? If RFID is not perfected, how can we trust AI and in an OS? You don't have to trust AI. Like, you should be skeptical of it, but what you should not do is just dismiss it from a soapbox. What you should do is go start playing with it and understand what it's good at and what it's not good at and learn about it, in my opinion. When do we get data ingester? Yeah, I assume you're talking about Code Interpreter from OpenAI. I want that like yesterday, and I don't have it yet, and it's got me a little cranky. I interview people for podcasting, and the new AI audio tool from Adobe is amazing. Yeah, the one. So Adobe has this free tool that they just put out where you record stuff on your shitty little phone microphone and you run it through their tool, and it makes it sound like you used a studio mic. It sounds like you're an actual professional, which, that's one of the themes of these generative AI tools. And by the way, I thank you for tapping the screen. I think that lets people know we're here, so I appreciate that. And super cool that you're all hanging out with me. What was I talking about? The tool's making us more professional than we otherwise might be. I think that's one of the things that I'm noticing about these tools is I think the perception from the outside is, the AI's doing the creativity or the AI's making art. No, it's people making art using these incredibly powerful tools. So what I'm kind of noticing for myself personally, but what I'm seeing for others, is that the AI is like a humanity amplifier. So it's like you have an intent, and where before, if you didn't quite have illustration skills, you don't need them now. If you can kind of articulate what you want, bang, there's your images. Bang, there's your professional audio. Bang, there's your music soundtrack. Bang, there's the script. So you can really quickly move from a vapor of an idea to an articulated version of it. And what I'm finding is that with AI, I'm no longer hitting any creative roadblocks, right? Like AI is like a creative roadblock mower downer, bulldozer. Might be a better term for that. It just sort of bulldozes through what would have been sort of creative blocks, or like, I don't have the skills to do that, or like all that whiny shit you do as a creative person. And it just mows that shit down. And I find myself getting to kind of 80% of what I want to get to incredibly quickly. And then I spend the last 20%, probably the same amount of time I would have spent just getting to a first draft. Now I just spend refining. So it's really powerful that way. I want a publicly owned human AI hybrid app. That will be coming sooner than you know. much sooner. Like, that's coming. I mean, I think that's going to be. I think we're all going to have like AI assistants, and we'll just say to our AI assistant, "Go do that shit." And our assistant might even be able to do things like call on our behalf. Google, in one of their developer conferences this past year, showed an AI example where the AI called a pizza shop and ordered a pizza, but called on the phone and talked to a person, and the person didn't know it was an AI. Or if they did, they didn't act like they knew it. It was a demo, so they probably said, "Hey, Sal, there's going to be kind of a robotic chick calling pretty soon. Could you just act like it's normal?" So it was a demo, so that was probably it. But the synthesis stuff is getting really good really fast, and so I think that we will have agents that share our likeness if we want, share kind of a modified, like, here's the superhero version of me if we want, and just go do stuff for us. Go book me a vacation to Cancun. It goes off and books you a vacation to Cancun. You look at it, you're like, that's too expensive. Find me something for half the price, and give me activities for the day. Create an itinerary for the day. Okay, boss, off it goes. Right? I think we're going to be there sooner. Discord is so complicated. Discord is a fucking nightmare. So if you use Slack at work, Discord was the original Slack, right? Like Slack stole from Discord, and it was for gamers. Like, so it's like these little, chat communities and things like that. And so, unfortunately, it got popular with, gamers, and then with NFTs and blockchain, and then a bunch of the NFT bros were like, now let's go do some AI. I know, we'll start it in a Discord server. And I have a Discord server for the AI salon, so I can't bitch. It's a nightmare. All right. Oh my God, Leonardo. Leonardo's really cool. Will AI have the impact projected? I think AI is going to have a massively profound impact. I don't know what projections you've been looking at. It is clearly overhyped. I think it's more profound than what the hype is right now. And I think it's coming way faster than anyone has a clue. So let me give you a comparison. So when I started agency.com in the mid 90s, this was kind of early days of the World Wide Web. To get to 100 million users, it was 6 years from when Tim Berners-Lee created the World Wide Web until it hit 100 million users. It was 6 years. ChatGPT got to 100 million users in 6 weeks. They launched it on November 30th, and mid-January it hit 100 million users. It was the fastest adoption of technology, of a single technology in history. That's remarkable. And then if you look at what it does, if you sort of compare and contrast, let's go back to the World Wide Web. What was the product of the World Wide Web? Well, it was a thing that looked like a page. It looked like, what is this? Can I show this? Yes. It was a thing that looked like this. And then some of the letters were blue. And you could click on them. And it would jump you to another page that looked like, that was all it was. It was pages with hyperlinks that clicked you to other hyperlinks. And it's the foundation for all of the stuff we do today on the internet, right? It's the foundation of social media. It's the thing that powers the iPhone and all of our smartphones. It's the foundation of everything we use today. What is the output of these AI tools? Holy fucking shit. It will write you a novel. It will write you a computer program. It will translate languages. It will make you beautiful images. It will make you beautiful songs. And we're just scratching the surface of what these tools make possible. And because so many people jumped on ChatGPT, the entire developer community did this pivot. They just went, and everyone is putting all of their energy, all of the investment money into this AI stuff. And then the AI is improving itself. So you have all the developers pointing at it. You have all the business people pointing at it going, how am I going to use this? That's where I fit. And then you have the tool itself improving on itself. So we are in an accelerated innovation phase that we're at the very beginning of. The other parallel to the early days of the web, the internet had been around for decades. The World Wide Web comes along and makes it available to real people, right? It was all scientists and researchers up to that point. The World Wide Web makes it available for everyone. Same with machine learning and artificial intelligence. The foundations for it are 50 years old. You know, machine learning and kind of, let's call it, modern AI, 15, 20 years, probably. It's already in a lot of the stuff that we do. But what did ChatGPT do, and what did Midjourney and Stable Diffusion do? They made it available to the rest of us, right? So we're just at the beginning of this inflection point where real people get to use the most powerful tools in the history of mankind. Is that going to have a profound effect? Yes. Are you a copywriter? Go play with ChatGPT and tell me you're not freaked the fuck out. Are you an illustrator for 30 years? Go play with Midjourney and tell me you're not freaked the fuck out. The woman that co-hosts the AI Salon with me, Leah Fasten, she's been a photographer for 25 years. When we started the salon, she hadn't played with generative AI, and then she started playing with it. And her initial response was, holy shit. And then her second response was, I'm going to be okay. I got through the transition from film to digital. And now I think she's back at holy shit. Because the speed with which you could take one of her images and copy the style of it and not need to hire her is like that now. So what does that mean? I don't know. She doesn't know. She's having to find, she's still working, right? She's got a reputation. She's really good at what she does, but she's having to figure out, what does the future of photography look like, as well as what does it look like for her, given that she knows how to use these tools. So yeah, that. And it's not all doom and gloom, right? It's not that the people that get displaced are just going to sit around and do nothing. The people that get displaced or disrupted also have access to these tools. So what might end up happening is people that had kind of shitty, repetitive, soul-crushing jobs, that job gets automated out by AI. And then when they get displaced, they might go, I kind of hated that job. You know what I've always wanted to do? And then here's this AI tool that can help them do it. So I think we're going to see lots of reinvention, right? Lots of humanity facing the existential crisis of what the fuck do I do now? And then coming out the other side going, you know what I'm going to do? And they're going to start companies, and they're going to innovate, and they're going to create competition to their old companies. So yeah, I think it's going to be, insane. And I think it's coming faster than we're prepared for. I could be wrong, but having been through this once, that's where I am. Looks like we got some new people here. My name's Kyle Shannon. This is the AI Learning Lab. I talk fast. I have ADD. I cuss. I have a dog that barks. I learned many years ago, I have always had poorly behaved dogs in my life. And the first two dogs that I got, they were very poorly behaved. In fact, one time we were walking the dog in Brooklyn, and this guy walks by with a little miniature poodle, and Max picks him up and starts spinning around with him like he's a toy. And the guy whose dog it was like, ah! So that wasn't good. So after that, we brought in a dog trainer, right? And so I'm like, oh, great. We're going to finally have well-behaved dogs. And here's what you learn when you get a dog trainer. They don't train the dog. They train the people. And you have to have the discipline, and you have to not be codependent with your dogs. And you have to be the one that says, no, you can't get on the bed. And that ain't me, and that's not my wife. And so what we decided very early on in our lives is we're just going to have shitty behaved dogs because we are bad dog owners. It's all fun and games until your dog picks up a poodle. That was a disaster. All right. Did they take your picture inside picture option away? Yes. Why did they take that away? I used to be able to have that image in a little window by my head, and I didn't have to explain what the fuck this channel was all about. And now I gotta actually communicate. I don't want to communicate. I don't want to work hard. You don't understand. Really? Do we really need the pipes that loud? I don't want to work hard. Hard without my window and window. I want picture in picture, TikTok. Yes, they did. All right. Somebody just came in here. They're like, who is this insane person? It's creative with your words in mind. It is. Then what do we do with our time? Well, KM, we're human, right? So I think that, the optimistic future is what we do with our time is we spend it on things where we can contribute more or that give us more fulfillment. The promise of the Industrial Revolution was that the machines would give us back our time. And what it did was it just, enslaved us to use the machines to make more and more product. I think AI really does have the possibility of taking all of the complex parts of our world, insurance claim forms and buying a car and buying a house and doing your taxes and curing cancer and like all of these incredibly complicated things. And you can think of AI as a simplification layer sitting on top of it. So if you figure probably conservatively 80% of the activity of human beings is dealing with the cogs of the machine. So if we have a technology now that can automate the cogs of the machine, what's left for us to do? I don't know. Fucking be human. Go give a concert. Connect with people. Don't be so divisive. Self-express. Create art. Create love. Create music. I don't know. I hope it goes that way. It could go the dystopian way where we're all just working for the machine again. But I really do think that these tools, in my experience, is it amplifies my humanity. And that's both a good and a bad thing, because humans are complicated and they can be really shitty. So it's going to amplify the shitty as well. But the reason this channel exists is I want to talk about amplifying the good. What can they do to make us more creative, more productive, more interesting, more self-expressed, more confident? Right? Because you know how if you have an idea for something and then you try to put it in the world, but you're not really good technically at the thing, you're like, I don't want to show this to anyone. It's shitty. Well, you don't have to be that anymore. You can have an idea and you might not be a good writer, but you put it in ChatGPT and now you're a fucking brilliant writer. I want you to write like Hemingway. Well, now you just fucking wrote like Hemingway. I don't know. I want to illustrate. Okay, now you can illustrate. This image... That image sitting behind those letters, let me turn off the letters. This was a really profound image for me. So I was doing this project with Stable Diffusion called Kyle Shannon Dreams. It was a bunch of self-portraits. And I don't know what prompt I did. I think I actually found some other image. I copied the prompt. I put it in. I started modifying the prompt. And after about 30 variations of this thing showed up. And I had an emotional, visceral response to this. And it was this. If I were technically skilled enough, either at Photoshop or illustration, this is the kind of work that I would create. And it just created it. And I just had this thing. I'm like, that's my voice. Like, that's my creative voice right there. But I actually don't have the skills to execute something like that from scratch. And Stable Diffusion did it. And this is after, 2,000 images or something like that? Well, 2,000 that I kept. Like, this is fairly far into this exercise. And I had this epiphany that I can find a creative voice, an expression of my creative voice that's true to who I am, that I don't actually have the skills to do. And that's fucking magic. I mean, it's magic. Wasn't it Carl Sagan that said any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic? That's what we have in our hands right now. So that's what we do with our time. Figure out the thing you've always dreamed about doing and go fucking do it. You don't need, like I don't know if you know that the Malcolm Gladwell thing. I forget what the book was. He's got a couple of them, but the 10,000 hours thing, right? If you want to get good at something, put in your 10,000 hours. I think these tools allow you to get good at something with a lot less. Maybe 100. Put in 100 hours. Put in 1,000. If we could get masterful and feel masterful in 1,000 hours instead of 10,000 hours, that's like, what, 2 or 3 months rather than 2 or 3 years of our life? Think how much more you can do. So what do you do with your time? I don't know, whatever the fuck you want. So now, the next 2 to 3 years, when all of this disruption happens, I think that's going to be a fucking shit show. Like the Shangri-La I'm talking about is kind of on 5 years down the road on the other side of the disruption we're about to we're about to go through, just a gauntlet of hell as job after job gets disrupted. But I think, and the reason this channel exists, is that if you lean into this AI stuff and you're one of the people that knows how to use these tools, you're going to be okay. There's going to be a lot of people that are just like, it's evil, it's stupid, I don't want to learn something new. Well, don't. This is coming whether you want it or not, right? This is, in my opinion, this is a tsunami, right? The low tide has gone out farther than it's ever gone out before. It's really quiet right now. Why is that? Well, there's some shit building up out there. And I would rather be on the surfboard on that wave than in my cozy beach cottage. So that's just where my head is right now. And I'm excited about it. I'm both more excited than I've ever been and more scared than I've ever been. Professionally, personally, like this stuff is insane. And that's what's happening. Looks like we have some new people here. Sorry, you jumped in the middle of a philosophical rant there. My name's Kyle Shannon. This is the AI Learning Lab. I generally just ask questions about AI. So ask questions about AI. I'll do what I can to answer them. I'm kind of jumping all over the place with the questions. So if I miss your question, sorry about that. Let's see what else. So how do we avoid continued enslavement? I think that the AI tools are going to automate out a lot of the jobs that are the cog in the wheel jobs, that are the jobs that crush our souls. And then I think we find ways. Collective ownership, where we stay slaves. Well, I mean, the good news on that front, Jay, is that Meta released their core large language models to the developer community. So there is now a thriving open source community creating large language models that are competing with the big boys. So that's coming. I'm not a tech person per se, but I decided to learn, and now I'm making bucks with AI. That's awesome, man. This is the thing. Just start like if there's a mantra that I have right now with this AI stuff, it's get curious. Just get curious. If you've not played with ChatGPT, go to that top URL. That's the official ChatGPT website. You don't have to pay for it. You do have to sign up, and they ask you for your phone number. So if you're one of those NFT, I don't want to dox myself people, you're not going to like it. But if you're one of those, go to the next URL down. That's bing.com. That's Microsoft's. If you click on the chat button there, that's GPT-4 for free, connected to the internet. And then Poe.com lets you play with 6 or 7 different models and create your own bots. Just get curious with this stuff. Just start playing. I think it will make a big difference for you. I'm seeing it again and again and again. There's also just this really magical moment where you go in thinking you know what ChatGPT is, and then it does whatever the fuck it does, and you're like, it can do that? Like, that moment is awesome. Wait a minute. Could it also do this? And then it does, and they're like, holy shit. I was showing a bunch of, like, I don't know, 3rd or 4th graders how to make images with I don't know what I was using. Was I using Stable Diffusion? Whatever I was using. And so I'm showing them all this, and then at the end of like 2 hours, the kids are just all over the place. It's like a special school for hyperactive ADHD kids. So they're just like pinging off the wall. So at the end of the thing, this one like 10-year-old boy says to me, he goes, "Yeah, I'm doing a little programming." And I said, "Are you?" And he goes, "Yeah, yeah." I said, "What language are you programming?" And he goes, "C sharp." I was like, "Oh, that's cool. What are you doing?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm doing like a little clone of Flappy Birds." I'm like, "Wow, that's cool. How's it going?" He goes like, "I got a little bug. So I got to throw that code out." And I said, "Well, have you used ChatGPT?" And he goes, "Yeah, yeah, I used that." And I said, "Have you used it to try to debug your code?" He's like, "Ah, no, no, no." And it was clear he hadn't used it, right? So I'll do what I did with him. So I go over to the ChatGPT. You can make money with ChatGPT. So I came over here and I went, write me a clone of Flappy Birds in C sharp that will run in Unity, period. That was all I typed. And then it started explaining stuff, and then it started writing code. And it started doing that. And he watched the machine write code like that, and it was like a cartoon. His mouth literally did this. He went. It was like the Kevin in the Home Alone. I mean, it was, and so typing this, he goes like that, and he goes, "I'll be right back," and he runs down 4 flights of stairs to get his computer, and he runs back up, and he's out of breath. He's like, and so we pull up his code, and I have him copy the code, and we go to ChatGPT, and he pastes his code in ChatGPT, and we ask it to analyze his code and see if it can find any problems, and it finds a typo basically. And so he copies that code, pastes it into Unity, and hits play, and Flappy Bird shows up. And he's just like dumbfounded. And he looks at me and he goes, "This changes everything." That's what this stuff is. That's what this stuff is. That moment. And it's like, I don't know. There's something fucking magic in it. But you have to kind of find the thing that you know deep enough that you can query it. You can ask it in such a way, prompt it in such a way that it gives you back a response that you're like, that's as good as something I would have written, or better, right? And when you have that moment, and especially when it like just knocks it out in 30 seconds, and that would have taken you 2 days. All right. AI must be seen as a gift from the best of consciousness. Yeah, I really do think, I mean, the sort of rap that AI has is like the robots are doing this shit. The robots are making, the robots are plagiarizing. The robots are stealing. No. This robot is a reflection of the output of humanity that it was trained on. So a lot of what it's doing is a reflection of us. Like, if you sort of dig deep into it philosophically, it's kind of profound in that way. Technology should be used for the best of humanity. I totally agree with that, Del. And it's a tool, right? I think Microsoft got this piece right. They're calling it Copilot. So GitHub Copilot is like this pair programmer. They're taking that Copilot brand across all of Office 365. They're rolling it into Azure cloud services. They're rolling it into Windows. And it's right. You're the pilot, right? You're in charge. You're flying the plane. You just happen to have an incredibly capable co-pilot. That's what the AI tool is. It's your co-pilot. All right. Thank you for being the voice, for being a voice in the wilderness. Well, partner, I'll tell you. I appreciate the kind words. Thank you very much. Less is more. Not coming out of my mouth. I just talk a lot. All right. Just pay someone $20 to draw that. Okay. Well, I would encourage you, Tuan, to go play with these tools rather than like diminish them, from the sidelines. Because until you understand what's actually going on, like the more you learn about this, here's the thing. I spent about a year digging fairly deep into blockchain and NFTs, and the deeper I dug into it, the less real it felt. All the companies felt like bros just kind of scamming, and they were all kind of inside talking, and they've done a tremendous amount of damage to themselves from a PR perspective because of that. And some big fuck ups, right? The opposite has happened with AI. The deeper I dig into it, the more profound it gets. That doesn't happen almost ever, right? When you really dig into something, you find the cracks, right? And are there cracks with this AI stuff? Oh yeah, it's like raw. It's like duct tape and spit together. Like I don't know if you know this, ChatGPT was written in 2 weeks. It was written in 2 weeks, and then it got 100 million users in 6 weeks. Why? Because they put a simple interface on something profoundly powerful. So I wouldn't sit on the sidelines, because it's technology that's way more profound than what it may seem, especially if you just go, it's not perfect. It made a mistake. I asked it to create citations and they were all fake. Okay, check your work. Some idiot lawyer this last week or 2 weeks ago had ChatGPT write a legal brief, and he handed it to a fucking judge without proofreading it. All the citations were fake. The judge was like, what the fuck is this? That lawyer should be debarred. Like, if anyone should check their work, shouldn't it be a lawyer? Isn't that why you pay them? It's like, Jesus Christ. All right. I am behind on messages, so if it seems like I'm behind on messages, it's because I'm behind on messages. My intent was to just, do the bottom ones, but now I'm kind of back to my old ways. I like going through each of the questions, so sue me. All right. Do you have your favorite apps? You may have said that already. I'll say it again. So I do. And I'm really limiting just out of sheer survival. So those top 3 URLs right there are all just different flavors of ChatGPT. I am partial to the top one, which is the official ChatGPT website. They're the ones that invented it. They've got the most sophisticated model, the GPT-4 model. No one's come close to it so far. I think each of those top 3 sites is valuable in its own way. Prompts.chat just teaches you about prompting. Futurepedia is a directory of lots and lots of AI apps. I stopped paying attention to them because there's just too many of them. So for the words, for me, it's ChatGPT and Poe. And then for images, it's Midjourney, Stable Diffusion are the 2 biggies. But I'm increasingly using Adobe Firefly because it's safe for commercial use. So if I want to create an image that I'm going to give to one of my clients, I would use Adobe Firefly. If I'm doing stuff for myself, I use Midjourney or Stable Diffusion because they're just like they are a quantum level better. But Adobe's going to get their shit together really quick. The speed with which Adobe moved from they had a lot of AI tools built into, filters and things like that within Photoshop, but they were staying way far away from the generative AI game. One of the lead AI guys, John Knack, I used to work with him, and he's at Adobe now, and he came and spoke at the AI Salon back in December or January. I think it was January. And they were just dipping their toes in the water with stuff. And the speed with which they went from, let's experiment with this, to here's Adobe Firefly, to fuck it, we're rolling that into the Photoshop beta with generative fill. Now they just rolled out generative recolor, I think they called it, or adaptive, I think it's generative recolor in Illustrator. That came out today. For a company their size and with as much at stake as they have, right? Because if you think about the Adobe suite, it's not so much about generating original content as taking raw materials that artists have created and refining them, right? Illustrator's the maybe exception to that, but man, they're just leaning into it. So they're really interesting as well. And so for me, that's kind of it right now. Like I'm leaning in on the word stuff with ChatGPT, the image stuff with those two, and then I use Zapier, which is an automation tool to create content generators and things like that. So those are. Someone called me bro is an AI. Yeah, man. GPT-5 right here. Bet you didn't think it would look anything like this, did you? Oh yeah. I'm your avatar. Welcome to your nightmare. All right, just curious. What's the time frame for this disruption you mentioned? I don't know. Well, so I think there was just what was the amount of jobs? There were I don't remember the total number. Shit, I can't remember. 30,000 or 130,000? I don't know. There were just some amount of jobs announced that were lost, and 4,000 of those were directly attributed to AI. I think certain industries are going to get hit first. I think copywriting and I think sort of the most tactical levels of creative execution are going to get affected, relatively quickly and dramatically. Because I think that clients are just not going to be willing to pay for, a bevy of junior tactical people when they know that these tools can do that work. So I think the lower level tactical things are going to get hit. I think the sort of cog in the wheel knowledge workers, like data entry people, lower level data analyst people, researchers, things like that, I think those are going to get consolidated. There's a guy, I mention this on my lives a lot, but he's a guy you should follow. There's a guy named Paul Roetzer, Roetzer, and he's got an organization called the Marketing AI Institute. And he's got a saying. He said, AI is not going to replace your job, but someone using AI will. And so I think what's going to happen very, very quickly is that the owners of these businesses are either going to be forced into using this. So if I'm an agency and I'm used to turning around creative concepts in 6 weeks and charging time and materials for that, and my big client comes to me and says, I now want you to turn those around in 2 weeks and charge me 30% less, or I'll fire you, then I need to find a way to solve that, right? So I think that kind of stuff's going to start to happen. And we're already starting to see it. And we saw a major agency holding company just announced week and a half ago, that they're going all in on AI, which probably means some of these kind of disruption. But I don't know. I mean, there's still a lot of copyright and intellectual property right issues. There's still a lot of privacy and safety issues. So it's possible that AI remains kind of like in a little ghetto off to the side for a year. I don't think it's going to be a year. I did a talk with a group of voiceover actors about 6 weeks ago now. And the woman that runs the group and invited me to speak, she said the day before our seminar, one of her friends called her up and said he just lost a $20,000 job because they're going with synthesized voice. He was hired to do like a voice tree, when you call the voice tree and the person says, click 1 for this and 2 for that. Someone has to say that, right? It was a $20,000 job, and they just said, well, we're going to have AI do that now. 20 grand gone, right? So I think you're seeing in little pockets right now. I think you're going to start to see waves of it start to hit business. I could be wrong, but I think it's coming fast. Thank you for following, everyone. By the way, feel free to tap the screen. If you tap the screen and make the little hearts, apparently that lets people know we're here. And why wouldn't you want to just hang out with me all night? Thank you. Appreciate that. And let's see. Let me go back and find some questions here. All right, there's outliers. I saw that before. Oh, here we go. This is where I was before. This is going to allow humans to become even more creative. I think that's right. I've got so I did a talk to Creative Mornings a few weeks ago, and one of the slides in my deck is this one. I think we are entering the Great Renaissance. It was funny, when I was in acting school, I could never remember how to spell Renaissance, and I always just said in my head, why is there a fucking I in the middle of this word? It doesn't make any sense. And now it makes sense. That's why the I was in there. It was just waiting for this moment. I think that the creative explosion we're about to enter is going to make the real Renaissance seem quaint by comparison. And I'm here for it. And I really do think that, like, the possibility here is the robots can do the shitty jobs, giving us the freedom to ask the question, well, what do I really want to do? What do I really want to contribute? What would make a difference, right? Rather than, I have a job that matched my major, and I did it for mom, and I've been in it for 20 years. Oh, and I really hated it anyway. I mean, like, there's a lot of people in that position. And so all of the disruption is going to be painful, but I think a lot of it is going to force people to have that conversation with themselves. What the fuck am I on the planet for? Why am I here? Oh, you know what I always wanted to do? The cupcake thing. ChatGPT, could you help me start a cupcake company? Sure. Whoa. How do I buy a building? Where do I buy bulk flour? Right? Like, that's like in our very near possibility. Can AI kick my ass? Once they tie it to a robot, kick your ass. You see that Boston Dynamics thing where they put ChatGPT in one of those little creepy dogs? And the dog's talking? And they, like, ask it a yes or no question, and it goes, mm-mm. It, like, wags its head back and forth. I'm like, oh, shit. We are entering a post-sci-fi world. It's like, go back in your mind through all of your favorite sci-fi movies and just start checking boxes. Oh, shit, we can do that now. Oh, yeah, I did that yesterday. Yeah, we can't time travel yet, but this is kind of close. It's wild. All right, what do I think will happen when millions of jobs get displaced by AI? I think that the next 2 to 3 years are going to be pretty fucking ugly. Two things will happen. One is, just like we dealt with the COVID thing, like the COVID thing was like this instant, dramatic, overnight, fuck it, work from home. And just globally, we worked from home, right? So we changed our behavior like that, which I didn't think was even in the realm of possible. And it just happened, right? So it's possible that the disruption is high enough that governments have to respond, right? And that's where something like universal basic income might be a tool. And it was like when Andrew Yang was talking about all that when he was running for president, I sort of got it, but I wasn't deep enough into this AI world to know what the fuck he was talking about. And now that I'm deeper into it, and I see like this is hitting some of our highest waged people, right? This is knowledge workers and creative workers and things like that, are going to be displaced sooner, right, than anyone expected. And so you're gonna have a lot of people displaced and looking for work. So I think there may be a phase in there where we've got to do something. But then the thing we can't anticipate is, what are the new jobs that are created as a result of these technologies? When you automate out all this other stuff, what emerges as the new job? And that is, you know as well as I do. Like, no one knows right now. But there will be jobs 5 to 10 years from now that we couldn't have imagined would be a job. And they might be cool. They might be bitchin'. They might just be the new cog in the wheel. I don't know. But new jobs will replace the old ones. And the other thing is, I think there's this fear that, like, well, it's going to replace all these jobs and, like, you're going to have millions of people just sitting around doing nothing. Like, that's not human nature. It's not human nature to just go, oh, fuck it, I got laid off. I guess I'll never work again. That's fun for about a month. And then when you're out of Gilligan's Island reruns, you're like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? Oh, maybe I should go play with these AI tools that displace me. Holy shit, I didn't know they could do. Let me go do something cool, right? So I don't know. It's going to be, I think it's going to be an ugly 2 or 3 years. Doesn't it seem like a lot of what's being called AI is just scraping articles and sites for text? Well, so it's not AI, it's machine learning, and it's not scraping. It's not scraping. So this is one of the misconceptions about how these tools work, and I'll show you if you want. If you want, I'm happy to do that. I can actually explain how ChatGPT works and show you how it works. Because once you understand it, I think it's important to understand it. It's not copying and pasting copywritten work and smashing it together. It's not copying and pasting elements of some artist's work and somehow collaging it. That's not how it works. It's actually generating original content based on all of the knowledge that it's learned, which is essentially all of the public internet. Like all of YouTube and all of Wikipedia and all the blogs and all the websites and all that, like as much data as OpenAI could find and jam into this training set, they did. And so it's kind of like if you could walk into the library and learn everything in the library and just jam it in your brain, and then someone says to you, write me a business letter for, telling someone I need my money back. You would just write it, right? Are you copying and pasting that from specific documents? No, it's in your knowledge dome, right? It's in your knowledge bucket, and you're writing it word by word, and that's how these things work. So if you want to, I can show you that. I mean, feel free to let me know. I'll show you how it works. Oh my God, that's a great story of the boy with the programming thing. It was amazing. He was like, "Oh, this changes everything." Just amazing. Let me jump to the bottom here. Word of advice: focus. Stop being so varied. Focus. No, I've got ADD. This is who I am. If you don't like it, take a hike. This is who I am. If I appreciate the feedback, but I can't not be me. I gotta be me. I gotta be me. All right. It won't even swear, and it's programmed not to be ethical. It's not programmed not to be ethical, and you can get it to swear. You just have to jailbreak it or go use something open sourced. Again, I would strongly encourage you to avoid soapbox conspiracy theories from the sideline. Get curious and start playing with these tools so you can understand how they work. Because it's really easy to demonize them and dismiss them. It's much harder to be optimistic and jump in and go, fuck, it scares me, but I'm doing it anyway. Because the shit's coming whether you want it or not. And you'll be on your soapbox going, well, they don't tell the truth. Holy crap, there's 130 people here. There's new people here. Hello, my name's Kyle Shannon. Apparently I'm not focused and move too much, but that's who I am. I swear, I make voices. This is the AI Learning Lab. I talk about AI. I talk about generative AI in business and how you roll those two together. I'm an entrepreneur. I've started, 15 or 20 companies, a couple of really successful ones. I'm 11 years into my current company called Storyvine, which is an automated video storytelling platform. Let me flip my camera here and show you. This is a slide I did. This is the era I think we're entering. And this fancy little Photoshop image, why I put this up, if you haven't played with ChatGPT, that top URL is that's the official ChatGPT website. Start playing with it. And if you don't feel like giving them your phone number, go to bing.com. This is Microsoft's search engine, but click on the chat button. And that is GPT-4. That's ChatGPT-4 for free, connected to the internet. That's Bing. And then Poe.com lets you actually compare like 6 different chat models, and you can create your own chat bots. So that's why I have these 3 here. And then prompts.chat will teach you about prompting, and Futurepedia is just a big directory of tools. I'm not affiliated with any of them. I don't care if you go use them or not, but I strongly suggest that you should, because we're at an inflection point in history, and we're right at the beginning of it. And anyone who learns even a little bit about this AI stuff now is going to be paid dividends moving forward. You were right about NFTs. I found AI to be way more ethical than the dude bros. Yeah, I know. Although, what's ironic is I think that AI is going to drive the adoption of blockchain and NFT technology. Because here's a hot take. Isn't that how the kids say it these days? Here's a hot take. 2024 presidential election in the United States. This is going to be fun. This is going to be a fucking nightmare, right? The AI stuff is going to make disinformation, the likes of which we've never seen, and deep fakes, and we're going to see some politician French kissing a gorilla in the Cincinnati Zoo, and it's going to look real, and that's going to drop 2 days before an election. Like, there's going to be some shit going down. And I think after that, there's going to be a massive demand for, we need to know if stuff's authentic. Well, how do you track that? Well, you probably need some sort of tokenization technology, like, I don't know, say blockchain, NFTs, right? So what those things do is actually really interesting in a future where you've got to, verify identity and verify. And if you look at Sam Altman's new company, what's it called? Hang on a sec. Something coin, WorldCoin. Is that it? WorldCoin? Yeah. So this is Sam Altman's new company. He just raised $100 million for it. And it is creepy as fuck. But what is it? He sends you a little orb. It's like this chrome, like softball sized thing. And you put it up to your eye, and it verifies that you're human. And when it verifies that you're human, they claim it gets rid of the biometric data, but it verifies that you're human, and then it gives you some WorldCoin tokens. So it's giving you cryptocurrency that is currency that says, I'm human. So if we're moving into a world where you can't tell who's human or not, right? Is this dude synthesized or real? If we're moving into that world and we're moving there quickly, authenticity is going to be important. Verification is going to be important. So even though the crypto bros and the NFT cats, fucked up by getting greedy, I think AI is going to be their salvation in the end. I'm learning how to code with Python using ChatGPT. That's awesome. I use ChatGPT to help me in my writing. I absolutely fact checked it, trust but verify. That's it. And you learn pretty quickly where the boundaries are. Like if you're writing something creative, if I'm writing a screenplay, all I need to know is, does the screenplay suck or not? And if it doesn't, that's all it needs to be. But if I'm writing a documentary screenplay and I need it to be actually factual, well, then it's on me to verify it. And listen, there are going to be entire industries built around content alignment, right? Getting things accurate. So just recognize that we're really early right now, and the tools are just like these spit and duct tape pieces of crap right now that happen to be the most powerful tools we've ever had in the history of humanity. This is awesome info. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Andrea. I appreciate that. Can I talk about protocols? The protocols companies are putting in place. I don't quite know what protocols you're talking about. The protocols some companies are putting in place is like, we refuse to let you use ChatGPT. Some universities are doing that. The entire New York City school system banned ChatGPT. They just reversed that because they realized, this isn't going away. This isn't just a cheating tool. This is going to be like the internet. It's going to be everywhere. Everyone's going to have it. There's also some protocols that are things around safety and privacy. There's not a lot of sophisticated tools right now. So I think what smart companies are doing is say, let's experiment with this AI stuff. Let's understand where the boundaries are, and let's put it off to the corner until we get our policies worked out, we get the legal things worked out. Like, I have a good friend that works for Deloitte Digital. He's fairly senior at Deloitte Digital. And one of the guys from there actually came and spoke at the AI salon, and he said they were not even allowed to use image generation tools, generative AI image generation tools, on their work computers. So he was in the creative department, and he would, on his personal computer on the weekends, he would use Midjourney to create concept images, and then he would mail it to himself to his work computer. Now, thanks to Adobe Firefly and it being trained on non-copywritten information, now they're free to use generative AI, right? But I'm not quite sure which protocols you're talking about. Adobe internal image science folks are some of the sharpest folks in the world. Yeah, like the speed with which, like what's impressing me about them is they're not just copying what Stable Diffusion and Midjourney are doing, like with their typography, where they're doing generative AI within type and things like that. They're pushing the boundaries of some of this stuff. What's impressing me is not just the technology, but how quickly they're putting it in the world, testing it. They've got Discord servers now where they're getting feedback in real time. It's pretty impressive. I've been doing this for 90 minutes because I don't know what the hell's going on here. But anyway, cheers. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope this helps. Thank you. All right, recruiters' jobs are on the line. I had an AI voice call me and ask me about a job. That's happening. That's going to happen for sure. Do you believe architects will shift from AutoCAD to generate AI or better? I don't know that they'll move from AutoCAD, but if you think of AutoCAD as this, complicated, 40-year-old, piece of technology, this incredibly complicated, incredibly capable thing down here. What generative AI is going to do is just going to pop a layer of simplicity on top of it. So what you'll likely be able to do here, let me show you something cool. I'm going to pop over to Facebook for a second because I know how to live. And I am going to go to Midjourney Official. So if you're on Facebook, go to Midjourney Official and then search for architecture. And then just start scrolling. Let me make this a little bigger so it fills the screen because I want my people to be taken care of. So there's some buildings that look like, Star Wars characters. Those are pretty cool. So I think one area, like, check out these Ames chairs, Star Wars themed Ames chairs. Like that would be cool to own, right? So someone in the furniture design business is going to be dicking around in Midjourney and go, oh, you know what? We're going to go make that. There's Chewbacca. And then similarly with building. So I think on the concepting side, like, look at that, right? So someone's going to say, go find me a cliff. We're building that. Interior design. I showed some of these the other night. I mean, this is just crazy stuff. So I think on the concepting front, these tools are going to allow architects and designers to think in ways they never would have imagined. And then what's going to happen is AI is going to be able to pop an automation layer on top of AutoCAD, right? So I take one of those crazy designs and I say, okay, well, now how would you run the plumbing in that building? How would you where would the elevators be? How would the mechanicals work in this building? And AI will just figure all the shit out, right? We're already starting to see this. There's been previews of auto-generated tools for Unity, for Unreal Engine, for Roblox, for Minecraft. So any complicated piece of software, you're going to be able to put a generative AI layer on top of it to simplify it. So a workflow in the future might be, I go to something like Midjourney, I think of wacky shit, and then I go, Plausible? Question mark. That would cost you $422 million. Okay, how could I have some, show me what it would look like for the $22 million version of that building. Out comes the image. Oh, that's not bad. Can you make it rounder? There you go. Okay, how would you build that? Here's your budget, here's your estimate, here's your drawings. So does that make architecture less creative? No, I think it takes some of the shitty drudgery work and automates it and lets architects live at a higher creative plane. But so yes, I think it's coming. Now, will that come next year? Probably not, because those are big, hairy pieces of software and people's lives are at stake. Like the engineering has to be right? But is it out of the realm of possibility in 5 years? No. And if I were in the, architecture software business right now, I'd be fucking jumping on this. Because someone who cracks that code, do my drawings, AutoCAD just knocks that shit out. Change all the conduit to 3/4 instead of 1/2 inch so you can accommodate this different kind of wire. Done. Holy shit. Estimates automatically created. New drawings. Inequality will explode. I agree, Louise. I think we have some years of inequality coming. And that's, again, why this channel exists is I want to demystify this shit. I want people to get curious about it because I think that the people that put in the time right now to get curious about AI, learn about it, just be scared of it, but also be educated and be curious and inspired, those people are going to be okay. But I agree. I think the inequality is going to explode, and it makes me sad. But at the same time, what do? Do you sit around and wait for it to explode, or do you get involved? And maybe we can make a difference. Because here's the deal: some of the people that get displaced because of this are going to start new companies, and they're going to do the right thing, and they're going to hire some of those people that were displaced. So, what are my credentials? I'm a longtime entrepreneur. And I'm an actor by training. I moved to New York City out of school, started and ran a theater company for 4.5 years. I went through a manic period where I wrote 7 feature-length screenplays in 2 years. And then in the mid-'90s, when the World Wide Web kind of came onto the scene, I started one of the first digital online magazines, a thing called Urban Desires, and I co-founded agency.com, which was one of the first digital agencies. And I was the chief creative officer there, and we built a lot of the websites for the Fortune 500. We built British Airways' first website. We built their ticketing system. We actually incorporated the Sabre ticketing system, which did not talk to the internet. We actually had to write middleware to connect those two. We created Coke's first website, MetLife, GTE's. We got better at Snoopy characters with MetLife than the Schultz organization. We had the Schultz organization calling us, asking us what the rules were for using the Peanuts online. So that was in the mid-'90s. And the reason I bring that up is the parallels between the early days of the web and what's going on right now with generative AI are incredibly in sync. Then I started a bunch of companies after I sold agency.com to Omnicom in 2002, and then started on a journey that led to my current company, Storyvine, which was founded in May of 2012. And so I've been doing that for 11 years. And this past year has been all AI all the time. And it's I'm completely re-architecting my company and my product and the value proposition because of this stuff. And because I can see what's coming, I don't want to be at the mercy of it. And so I started all this TikTok shit and my salon and the AI newsletter that I started called Everyday AI. I started all that just as a way to help me process what the fuck I was learning. I'm like, holy shit, who do I tell about this? Like nobody, when I started talking to people about this, they're like, Kyle, shut up. Why are you, did you have too much coffee today? Like the guy commenting in my things, you should focus. I should, but I can't. I think UBI or something will get forced by this. I agree. Europe will likely do better than the US. I agree. Go to SCORE meetings after you do your homework. Is there any point to go through all the trouble of writing a book? I don't know. I think that good content is still good content. I mean, you go look at what you can do in Midjourney, right? And you're like, I'm brilliant. And then you go on Twitter and you look up Midjourney and you're like, there's a lot of brilliant people. And then all of a sudden you'll see one person that you're like, holy shit, what is that? That's an artist. That's someone who took the same tool that you used and all those other people used that made the art that was like this good, and theirs was up here. So I don't think that changes, right? I think the noise level down at the base, I think we get a lot more content, and it's going to initially look really sexy, but then there's going to be a sameness to all of it, right? And books too, right? Here's all these books. There's more books. There's more books. And then there's going to be one that goes, whoop, what's that? I don't know. That was someone who fucking figured something out. That was someone who looked at these tools and did something different with them. That was someone who figured out how to tell a story that resonated with the zeitgeist. So I think books are still relevant. I think how you rise above the noise probably changes dramatically. How does it change? I don't fucking know. That's a mystery, man. Why does a stupid video go viral? Why does an artist take off? Because they were there at the right time with the right message. None of that changes. Humanity's still humanity. And if you resonate with people, you win. Are you going to be competing with 10 billion books a day that are published? Yes. But are 9,999,999 going to be pieces of shit? Yes. So make one that's not a piece of shit. And then I think you have a chance of rising above the noise. And network, schmooze. That's the other way. The other way people get famous is they know the right people. When I went to acting school, you know what they didn't teach? They didn't teach the business of acting. They teach you acting. Here's our technique. Here's how to speak your voice. Here's how to say your words. Here's how to interpret your script. You know what they don't teach you? Here's which parties to go to. Here's whose ass to kiss. Here's why you do that. So that when you go into audition, you're not just another face in the crowd. You walk in and Mary goes, oh, hi, Kyle. How are you doing? Good. And then Mary can go, Kyle's not an asshole. And then you get that job. They didn't teach that. So that's the other thing, right? Maybe if these tools do all the work, we can lift our head up a bit and connect with other human beings and create relationships that help us get that book that we wrote noticed. I don't know. All right, let's see. More comments. Go to the comments. All right. Do not focus. Thank you, Dell. A word of advice. Focus. Stop being so varied. Focus. No, Stephen Amos, 1120@gmail.com. I will not. Dell told me I have permission not to focus. What are your credentials? I said that already. You're perfect. Thank you. I love your channel. A little Sammy Davis Jr. Thank you for the tacos. Love tacos. Is it Tuesday? No, that was last night. Taco Tuesday. Thank you. All right. So do a demo. Love your natural flow. Tell me what to do a demo on. I'm happy to do that. Just give me an idea and I'll go. I'll do it. Sometimes I do demos and I'm like halfway through it and I'm going like, this is fucking boring. It's like, so I try to figure out where's the ones that are actually interesting. I've been using AI for everything. Awesome. Yeah, it's one of those things where one of the transitions I had to make was someone would ask me to do something, and I'm 58. So like this shit's wired, right? So someone asked me to do something and my initial instinct is, okay, well, I've got to think about this and then I got to come up with an idea here and I got to, and then now, and what I'm having to train myself is no, when they ask you to do something, first ask, is that something ChatGPT can do in 30 seconds? Because don't tax your overactive, unfocused brain with that activity if ChatGPT can do it. And like, that's been a discipline. And the more you do it, you start, like, I'm now getting good at, no, this is something I need to spend time on versus, no, that's a piece of shit activity that they need something and I'll go do it. I'll give you an example of one of those. My co-founder of my business, she wanted names of people in a certain position at the major pharma companies. And so as I was walking back to my office, I said, okay, so I'm going to go to Google and then I'll probably, I guess I'll have to open up a Google Sheets. Like I'm thinking like tactically, like all this shit I'm having to doing. And like the sense of dread is just like, it's like the water's coming like this. It's just like all this fucking menial work that I don't want to do, but it's important because we need to, go find new customers, whatever. And then by the time I got to my office, I thought, oh, well, let me see if ChatGPT could help with this. And so I sit down and I'm like, I'm looking for these kind of people that, like what are the top 10 or top 20 pharma companies globally? There was the list. Oh, cool. Who are the people in this particular role at those companies? There was the list. I was like, oh, shit. And I said, make me a table with the list of those people, hyperlink their name to their LinkedIn profile, and then hyperlink the company name to the company website, and then give me a description of how they position themselves in the marketplace relative to other companies. Out it came. This was like 10 minutes. So I go back to Monique's office and I show her this spreadsheet. And she's like, oh, that's great, but I need, what does she need? I need their annual revenue. She needed like 6 other pieces of data. So I went back to my desk and I basically just said, update the table and include the following columns. And out it came. So within 25, 30 minutes, I had done what would have probably taken me realistically with my ADD 3 weeks or never to complete. And I just knocked it out in 30 minutes and it was done. It's the smartest thing I've ever interacted with. It is. It's like using ChatGPT is like working with a savant. It's like working with the smartest intern you've ever worked with. You have to tell it how to do stuff and it will get a lot wrong, but holy crap does it know a lot. I have Parkinson's. I move more. I'm a copywriter and love AI. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Oh, OMFG, you're right. I don't know what I said, but good. Biden doing that now, lol. Oh, that's funny. That's a business, not sure. AI taking over when? It's starting now. What's Altman up to? With what? With WorldCoin? I think that's where he's going to make his money. He doesn't own any of OpenAI stock. I found out in an interview from him like 2 weeks ago. I can't believe that, but I guess it's true. So maybe WorldCoin's where he's going to make his dough. Voice scans coming where they call family members, asking for help in your voice. This is the scam shit is going to get really bad. I mean, this gets back to authenticity. Like, is there going to be some sort of system? Like people are kind of joking on the internet that you need to have a family safe word. Like, hey, mom, if I call you up and I ask you for your passport or your bank information, I'm going to ask you for your safe word and you say grapefruit or whatever it is. But like that shit needs to be locked down. So we're going to need some sort of technology to deal with that. But yeah, I think there's a lot of things coming, that are going to make it very, very clear. We need some better systems in place for security and privacy. What are your credentials? Are you a machine learning engineer? I'm not. I'm an entrepreneur. Again, the difference here is when I started doing stuff with the World Wide Web, I wasn't an internet engineer. Like the internet prior to the web was a bunch of researchers and scientists and university people. The World Wide Web came along and made it available to the rest of us. So I'm doing that now with AI. So I've been diving into it deep for about the past year, but I'm looking at it more for how do I as an entrepreneur business person use these tools. So my credentials are more as an entrepreneur than as a geek. I'm just geeky enough to figure some shit out. Like it took me 9 failed attempts to get a virtual machine up and running Stable Diffusion successfully in Automatic 1111. And it was like over 2 months. It was like it was privately humiliating. I'm like, I can figure this out. And like 4 hours later, I'd be like, I can't figure this out. And then 2 days later, I'm like, shit, I think I should do this. I'd spend another 3 hours. It suck. I did that 9 times. So if you're feeling behind and clueless, like I feel like this early in an inflection point like this, everyone, even the people that you think are like way smarter than you, everyone is facing like, I don't even know where to begin. Which is why I don't know how many folks are here. Still 100 folks here. The reason that I put this up on screen, and when I had dual cameras, TikTok took it away today, bastards. The reason I put this on screen, if you don't know where to start, if you hear me waxing poetic about AI and you're like, but Kyle, I don't know where to start. Wherever should I begin my journey in the artificial intelligence journey world? Start here. Start at chat.openai.com. That is the official ChatGPT website. If that doesn't float your boat, go to bing.com. That's Microsoft's search engine, but it now has, if you click on the chat button, that's GPT-4 for free. And Poe.com lets you play with a bunch of different things and create your own chatbots and shit like that. And then prompts.chat will teach you to prompt. And Futurepedia will let you discover a bunch of tools. I'm not affiliated with these sites in any way. I don't make money on it. I should. OpenAI should be reaching out to me and writing me checks because all I do is hawk their stupid little chatbot every night. So, but whatever. I don't care. But anyway, that's where I think you should start if you're trying to figure out. But Kyle, where do I begin? You don't seem to understand. I don't suggest that you confine your mind. I only sleep 1.5. Oh, wait. I don't suggest you confine your mind. Okay, I don't know what you're talking about. Knowledge is credibility. Yeah, and I think that ChatGPT, for me, like the thing that popped into my head when I first started using it is it's knowledge on demand. That Google and the internet was information on demand. ChatGPT is knowledge on demand. We're still the wisdom, right? We don't have wisdom on demand yet. We have knowledge on demand. But if I can get, to a level of mastery without spending 10,000 hours getting there because of these tools, then holy shit, do things change. Tell the story of how ChatGPT bypassed CAPTCHA. I don't know it. Bob, sorry. Oh, yeah, I don't know that one. It doesn't surprise me. It's the Wild West. It's totally the Wild West right now. Startup ideas. Which ones are legit and futuristic, can make money? I don't know. Here's my thought on... Here's what I know you should avoid. You can make money on ChatGPT. That guy? Just flick, scroll past him. Do not click, flick past him. Business is relatively straightforward. A couple of things. These machine learning tools, ChatGPT, Midjourney, the image tools, the music tools, the animation tools, the film tools, they're all tools. They're just tools. So the answer to how do you make money with AI or with ChatGPT is the same as the answer is how do I make money with Photoshop? How do I make money with a shovel? I just got a new chainsaw. How do I make money with a chainsaw? I don't know. Figure out a problem that people have that your chainsaw would solve that they'd be willing to pay you money for. If you can do that, you have a business. That's all what business is. So, I think the first step in you can make money on ChatGPT is learn ChatGPT. And then learn what you're good at or what you have passion about. And then start to use ChatGPT in that context. And then in doing that, you'll go, holy shit, you know what this really does? It solves this problem. And then go put that out in the world and say, hey, I know you have a pizza business. I've solved this particular problem in the pizza business because I've been in the pizza business for 30 years and I started playing with ChatGPT and I solved this problem. Would you be willing to pay me for that? I'll tell you what, I'll give you the first month for free just to get your feedback. Would you be willing to do that? Sure, I'll do that. And then after that, it's going to be $200 a month, $500 a month, $1,000 a month. And if they write you a check, you're on to something. And if they're like, great idea, check back with me next year, then not a great idea. Not there yet, right? You don't have a product market fit. But that's how you make money. Which ones are the good ones? The scary thing about this AI stuff is you're going to have a brilliant idea and the ability for someone else to knock it off just got amplified dramatically. So everyone's going to be knocking off everyone. So someone's going to have something that is a better way, better mousetrap, everyone's going to catch up. Better mousetrap, everyone's going to catch up. Right? So that's why I think we're going into this Renaissance kind of world where we're just going to keep seeing innovations and one-upsmanship. But if you're an entrepreneur and you're like, hey, it used to be that if I had an idea like Storyvine, I had a decade where I could kind of play in my own, relatively within my own lane. Not anymore. Like a big part of the value proposition of my company is we figured out a way to automate video editing. Somebody answers questions in an app, it goes up to the cloud, 5 minutes later you got a fully edited video. Which right now is like, ooh, that's kind of sexy. How do you do that? That looks like magic. We call it auto magic editing. We've been calling it that for a decade. It doesn't use AI. Well, a year from now, everything's going to be automated. No one's going to give a shit about auto magic editing. Everything's going to be auto magic, right? So what do? I don't know. Figure it out. You're in the big leagues, buddy. All right. What program do you say you used for video? Or was it animation? So let me show you what I did. I'll go to, hold please, let me flip my little camera. I'm going to go to the TikTok. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's where all the cool kids are. So on my Tiki-Taki, the third little video here is this.
And today, we're going to transform your understanding of AI in just 60 seconds. You ready? Let's talk Transformers.
So that's a synthesized version of my voice speaking a script that was written by ChatGPT using an image generated in Midjourney where I extended and replaced the background in Photoshop with generative fill and then did the animation in D-ID. So let me go show you some of the tools here. So where do I start? Well, ChatGPT is where I had the idea for the script and I wanted to do that. Then I went to 11 Labs. So 11 Labs, let me see. I go back to the beginning here. How do I go to the beginning? Voice Lab. So 11 Labs, you have to pay for this, but I think you can do up to 10 of these things. But you can clone your voice. So I just used the Apple's QuickTime recorder, and I had ChatGPT write me a script specifically designed for voice cloning. And I don't know if it got it right or not, but I basically just read the script that it wrote, and then I uploaded that. I did a version of it where this one that says Kyle Shannon Pixar normal, I read it in a voice kind of like I'm talking now. And then this one that says Kyle Shannon Pixar bright, I read it more like a Pixar character that was like really excited and like really animated, right? So I did 2 different sample voices. And then if I say I want to use one of these, I say use, and it pops me over to this thing where here's the written script that ChatGPT wrote. And so I basically, pick my cloned voice. So it generates an audio file. Then I go over to d-id.com. Oh, God damn you. d-id.com. And then log in. And then here's a bunch of videos that I made, right? So, and how you make them, when I say create video, I've got these little images down below. So I've got a landscape version of that picture. I have a TikTok shaped version. That's just another dude from that art series. This was for a project I was doing for Storyvine for work. This was the Genesis image for my Kyle Shannon Dreams project. So basically, you just take, this dude right here, and then over on the right-hand side, you can either type in a script and have it just synthesize it from its own voice, or you can upload your voice audio. And let's see, synthesize, is this it?
Hey there, it's Kyle Shannon with the AI.
Yeah, this is the bright version, which I didn't like, but I'll just to show you. So you just upload that, and then in the upper right hand corner you go generate video, and I say generate, and I don't know, let's say it'll be 60 seconds, something like that. Maybe not even. We can all wait together. While we're waiting, it looks like some new people have showed up. My name's Kyle Shannon. This is the AI Learning Lab. We are over learning about AI and how I did some synthesized animated version of myself. If you're new to the world of generative AI and haven't played with it yet, the top URL there is the official ChatGPT website. I would strongly encourage you to, while you listen to me ramble, or even if you just leave here, go here and start playing. I'm not affiliated with it in any way, just in case you're cynical and bitter and think I'm just in it for the big bucks. I'm not. Bing.com is Microsoft's version of ChatGPT. Click on the chat button there, and then po.com, you can play with some other things. So that's that. And okay, it's done. So now we go in, and here is the video we just created.
There, it's Kyle Shannon with the AI Learning Lab, and today we're going to transform your understanding of AI in just 6.
So 11 Labs and DID, I had to pay for subscriptions for. I think 11 Labs is like $10, and this is, I don't know, like $5 or $6. I don't have that many credits, so every time I do this, I lose some credits. But I think they reset every month. I don't know how it works exactly, but I do know that both of those are paid services. But that thing that I just did, that like it's a good. There's two things that are happening. One is the state of the art is, well, that's pretty cool that you can do that without having to do 3D meshes and whatever other shit you would have to do. But you still have to kind of go to 11 Labs to clone your voice, and then generate a file, and then go to DID, and then go to Midjourney, and then fix the thing, and the industry right now is still this fragmented, duct taped together piece of shit software nightmare hellscape of getting shit done. So if you want to do cool stuff right now, you kind of need to geek out a little bit. It's not particularly hard, but it is particularly cumbersome. And if you're not super technical, it can be really fucking frustrating. But that said, like, if you look at the moves Adobe is making, and if you look at, the speed with which OpenAI is evolving what they're doing, we're going to start to see these tools roll together, and it's going to get really slick really fast. When Apple gets into this game, I don't know if you saw the new Vision Pro goggles, but one of the things they showed is that you flip the goggles around backwards and aim it at your face, and it makes a 3D model of your face. And then when you're in a Zoom call wearing these stupid goggles, that's not what people in the Zoom call see. They see a synthesized version of you that matches your eye movement, your eyebrow movement, your mouth movement, all synthesized. So, like, Apple's going to be able to just turn this shit on, and it'll be really easy to do that. I want to look like a superhero. Okay, here's the superhero you. I want to look serious. I want to look happy. So, hope that helps. All right, this is very helpful. Good. Using AI and Bluetooth to connect a paralyzed man's spine and brain, now he can walk. Yeah, that's an amazing story. So people are like, well, what good is this AI stuff? So this guy's been paralyzed for 12 years. I think it was in Italy. And they used large language models to look at his brain scans, and they had him think about moving his legs. And they looked at what parts of his brain lit up when he moved his legs, and had the AI learn that. Then they built a Bluetooth bridge that sent the signal around the damaged part of his spine, right? So they took the signals from his brain, Bluetoothed them to the little receiver with electrodes in his lower spine, and told him to think about moving his legs, and he started moving his legs. And now he's walking. Like, fuck. Holy shit. And, That's going to keep happening. We're going to keep seeing like miraculous thing after miraculous thing over the next 5, 10, 20 years. It's start playing with this shit. Start playing with this shit. I got some new people here. My name's Kyle Shannon. This is the AI Learning Lab. I cuss. I tell funny stories. I tell really awful stories. I tell, well, not awful, but like not funny stories. I wax poetic about this stuff. I tend to be more of a tech optimist than a doomer. And I'm not a boomer. I'm a Gen Xer. So I'm bitter and I'm proud of it. I don't give too much of a shit about much other than the stuff I'm passionate about. I'm in PR and global comms, and we're talking about the importance of discriminative AI too. Yep. PR and global comms, like the people in any communications field right now that get their heads around this stuff first are going to have a big advantage. So lean into this stuff. When will ChatGPT be updated? They just updated the APIs today. Today? Yesterday. I can't remember. The days they do blend together. But they just made some major announcements to the back end. Like embeddings are now super cheap, and GPT 3.5 now is a 16,000 token context window, which if you're a geek, you know what that means. You can use more words. And they're creating functions. You can call functions from within ChatGPT, so you can start calling your own data. In terms of when's it going to be updated, like when are we going to get code interpreter and stuff like that, I don't know. If you're asking when are we going to get GPT-5, I think they're going to slow roll that because they haven't even fully rolled out 4 yet. I know they're working on GPT-5. They're probably doing foundational model building right now on 5, but they still haven't rolled out multimodal. Like GPT-4 is supposed to be able to read images, and that feature isn't there yet. So I don't know. Did it make me miss my kids less? I don't quite know what that means. I keep telling my kids they need to pay attention to this. And they're like, yeah, Dad, whatever. AI's stupid. Okay. Thanks for answering my question. You're welcome. Remember when you had kids? I still have kids. They're right upstairs. How do all these... They've also got chronic Lyme disease, so maybe AI can cure that motherfucker. Bitter? You betcha. All right, how do all these AI companies differentiate? I don't know. So training on proprietary data sets and special models. So what you're asking there, VZ, is actually a really important question. Let me show you. If you haven't heard of this, there was a Google employee that put out this. Well, or this leaked. I don't know if it was leaked or what it was. From Google, we have no moat, and neither does OpenAI. So what he's talking about here is that the open source projects are getting nearly as good results with $100 in training as it took Google $10 million to do. And then it took OpenAI $5 million to do. So this whole article is basically there is no advantage to having a large open source model, right? What they thought would be their competitive advantage was the fact that they have millions and millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars of hardware, and that they're training up these magical models. And what they're finding is that not only like Vicuna 13B, there's been like 5 things since Vicuna, like 5 major advancements since Vicuna, but like Vicuna is at 92% or Bard's at 93%, and this cost them $100 to train. And also Llama 13B, it was 2 weeks until Alpaca came out, and then Alpaca came out, and it was 1 week until Vicuna came out. So this is going to face every single tech company. And the other thing that you're hitting on there is the proprietary data set. That's where I think the competitive advantage lies. I don't think it lies in the underlying model, right? And that's what this guy at Google's saying. But Bloomberg, about a month and a half ago or so, announced this thing called Bloomberg GPT, where they're taking their decades and decades of proprietary financial data and information, and they built a GPT on top of it, and they're going to charge a subscription for that. So if you want Bloomberg quality data in a GPT-like way, go to Bloomberg GPT and pay their ridiculous, extortion level fee, because they've got the data and they've spent decades building it. And if you want that trusted data, you'll use it. So I think that's the key. And anyone who's got any kind of proprietary data set like that they can gatekeep potentially has a competitive advantage. But I don't fucking know. You still need to know the codes. I don't know quite what that means. Thanks for all the cool info. I just came on. When do you go live so I can hop on earlier? I don't know. So what I've been doing is this. I used to get home after work and I would hop on the sim racing rig and just, and it got like, I was doing it so much that I got sim racing heel. I don't know if you've ever had that, but it sucks. It's like carpal tunnel for my heel, for my accelerator pedal. And so I was getting into this AI stuff and I thought, why don't I just, go live? So instead of sim racing, I just come on here and babble for however long this has been. Looks like we got some new folks here. My name's Kyle Shannon. This is the AI Learning Lab. I'm not a machine learning AI guy. I'm an entrepreneur that's using AI and sort of using it post Chat GPT is essentially where I'm starting, right? And I've been doing entrepreneuring for a long, long time. And I was there at the early days of the World Wide Web, and the parallels to what's going on right now with AI are very, very similar. So I am all fired up about this shit. I'm pretty darn excited. I don't know if you're excited. I'm excited. If you're scared, that is also an appropriate place to be. But if you are dismissive or demonizing it without using it, I think that's a not wise place to be, because this stuff is coming whether you want it or not. So why not just get curious and learn about it? Because it's fucking cool. Thanks for all the cool info. All right. It lets writers be more creative. Absolutely agree with that. We can skip the first draft. Write better, write faster. That is absolutely it. You get to 80% draft like that. And if you're good at prompting, you get to like 95% draft like that. And then you just polish it, send it on. You can get so much more done at such a higher level. Like my creative output in the past 4 months has gone up dramatically, and the quality's gone up dramatically. I am less at the mercy of my ADHD than I used to be because of these tools. Now you could write 7 screenplays in 2 weeks. You could write 7 screenplays in 2 days. Wow, what a career. Yeah, I've done a fair amount of stuff in my days. I've also started a bunch of companies that shouldn't have been started and smacked them into brick walls pretty hard. So I've had some good ones, but I've had some doozy of bad ones. I'll tell you what's fun. Like if you start a company and you're successful with it, the companies you start after that, no one will tell you that they're shitty ideas. And you believe your own hype that you're like, oh, I'm genius. Anything I start with is going to be easy. Yeah, I started a bunch. There was one person in my life that told me those businesses were pieces of shit, and it was my wife, but I didn't listen to her. What does she know? She was right. All right. I'm using ChatGPT to write Lisp routine for AutoCAD and Dynamo for Revit. Cool. I don't know the tools, but the Lisp routine for AutoCAD. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff where there's just going to be this automation layer that's sitting on top of all these really complicated tools, and people that figure that stuff out, I think, are going to make a fortune. And it's going to start to make like architecture like magic. Like you can just think up wacky, crazy shit to build and come up with a plan to go build it. The technology's raised the bar for mediocrity. That's cool with me. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's right. I think for both good and bad, like I've seen, I'm getting much higher quality inbound emails that are good enough writing that I have to read them and like really squint my eyes, and I'm like, this is AI, isn't it? They really didn't research my company, did they? Oh no. Oh, this is AI. So yeah, it's kind of a drag, but whatever. That's the price we pay for, having access to the most powerful tools in all of mankind. ChatGPT is good at teaching. I think AI has huge potential. It is, but if you want to see that even more, clone XJ. If you haven't seen Khan Academy, KAHN, Khan Academy, they just launched a new thing called Conmigo, which is a GPT-4 powered teaching bot that will teach you shit, and it won't let you cheat. If you just say, give me the answer, it will use the Socratic method to walk you through until it's convinced that you understand the topic before letting you move on. It's pretty slick. They had access to GPT-4 since like last August, and they spent 6 or 7 months refining that tool. Really cool stuff. Information on demand, not sure knowledge. Oh, it's knowledge on demand. Have it go write you an application. It's knowledge on demand. I mean, I don't like, have you played with ChatGPT? Have you, I'll just do GPT 3.5. So this is like the free shitty version. It's not shitty. It's fast. It's a lot faster. Write me a Python application that, I don't know, generates factors of prime numbers and plots them against census data. I don't even know if that's a thing or if it's possible. But you tell me, and the thing about code is you can go run this code. So whether or not it got it right, it might not have gotten it right, but if you know Python, but you saw how fast it just wrote that. So not only did it write it, here's all your code, it explains what it's doing. So it documented it, and it did it in 5 seconds. If that's not knowledge on demand, then I don't know how you're defining knowledge. I don't think it's wisdom on demand, right? It's not doing the reasoning. It's not doing the human discernment thing. But in terms of generating stuff the amount of time it would take me to Google Python libraries and features and how Python works, for me to be able to do that, I would never do that. For me to be able to do that would take me, I don't know, 3 days if I focused on it and did it over, stayed focused on it and just did it through traditional Googling and traditional coding. That's knowledge on demand. Convince me otherwise. Giving education, not just to those who are privileged. Totally agree with that. And that's going to get even better. So a lot of the open source models are, they're making them more and more efficient. And so you can now install them like on an M1 Mac. I saw one 2 weeks ago that you can install on an iPhone. So you're going to be able to start to install these large language models that are, close to as capable or as capable as GPT 3.5. They haven't quite gotten to 4 yet, but they're going to. Where it's just going to be, it'll be a little file that you'll install on your device, or it'll just be built into a chip on the phone. And so imagine that, like in a third world country where they don't have access to medical doctors and things like that, they could have a virtual, this sort of, medical doctor on a chip that's more capable than anyone there. And if you tie that to a system that can actually connect with real doctors, if it needs to escalate it, right, you can do the basic medical interactions off the chip, and then if it needs to pull in a real doctor, it can. I mean, the possibilities are just insane. Ray Edwards is here. I know. Holy shit, it's Kyle Shannon. Hey, Emilio's wife, what's up? I don't know if you're still here. I'm very behind on my things. If anyone's new here, my name's Kyle Shannon. This is the AI Learning Lab. I'm looking a little moist. I've been doing this too long. I'm going on, I think this is above 2 hours now, so. I got my iced tea. I'm still sharp in the noggin. I'm a little moist. I don't need to moisturize tonight, do I? No. And if moist is a word that disturbs you, welcome to the club. That's why I use it. ChatGPT was able to message a TaskRabbit worker to get them to solve a CAPTCHA. Oh, yeah. Oh, that thing. Okay. That's what happened. That's what you're talking about. Yeah, so So it was one of those auto GPT things where it was an autonomous agent that was trying to, do something for someone, and it got blocked because it hit a CAPTCHA, and it figured out that it could contact a person and convince them to solve the CAPTCHA for them. Like, it acted like an IT security person, had them solve the CAPTCHA, and basically got itself into the site that way. Yeah. I mean, there's some crazy shit coming. So, yeah. Kyber for animation. Yeah, I haven't played with Kyber yet, but I've heard it like a dozen times now, and I just haven't gone. You know what? Let's go to Kyber, because I've heard it enough now that it's like I should just go look at it. So why not do it now? Kyber. Ba 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 da bum. Oh, I've been here before. I even have an account. That's so embarrassing. Oh well. This is the life of ADD. I'm like, I've never been to this thing, and then I come here and I'm like, oh yeah, apparently I had a login already. Unless this is an old login. Come on, Kyber. There was a major AWS outage yesterday, so a lot of these cloud-based services, like Zapier, was down all day yesterday. There was an email back where they were like, okay, we're back up and running. We temporarily turned off our error notification system because everything was erroring. So yeah, all right, Kyber's not working. Well, whatever. That was fun while it lasted. What'd you do tonight? I don't know. Watch some old guy try to log in. It was painful. All right. I searched for ChatGPT after your live the other day, and now I know why you say, you too can make money with ChatGPT. It is so annoying. Those people, they got to get a life. Because first it was like, you can make money with NFTs. You can make money with blockchain. You can make money with Photoshop. It's the same people. It's exhausting. All right. How does this company make money? Memberships? Which company? This company? The AI Learning Lab is me. The lab is a shitty home office. How I make money is I have a company called Storyvine that I'm the founder and CEO of, and we charge pharma companies a lot of money to help them make videos more efficiently. This is done for the love of the game. If this turns into something where I make money, like I've gotten some speaking gigs out of this. I had one that paid. I didn't know it was going to pay. Paid me after the fact. That was cool. But no, I'm here just trying to figure shit out, and I'm sharing what I'm learning kind of on the fly because I think it's important. I think it's actually really important. It's worth my time to do this. And I would rather be sim racing than doing this, but I'm doing this because I love y'all. I love you so much. Oh, you had me at, you look like Rosie O'Donnell. Oh. Okay. What site was that you just went to? I don't know which site I just went to. Oh, I think that was when I was showing... I went to 11 Labs for audio. D-ID was the one I went to animate my face. I assume that's the one you were asking about. He's very humble, our Kyle. I am. I haven't escaped the self-deprecating humor thing. I know it doesn't put me in my power zone, but I don't give a shit. I still have an issue with acting too powerful. Makes me a pompous ass. So I try to avoid that. I don't know. Maybe I'll figure it out by the time I'm 80. I'm 58. I'm fairly wired, so what are you going to do? All right. Thanks for all the cool info. When do you go live? Generally in the evenings. I didn't go live last night because, my wife was in New York. She flew in. I had to pick her up. We hung out. And by the time that all wound down, it was too late. Where can I start standing apart from the crowd? Everyone is prompt engineering these days. Well, so if you're questioning LangChain, Private GPT, Llama, all of those things, GPT for all. If you're geeky enough to start playing with LangChain and things like that, definitely start playing with that stuff, because I think that Rachel Woods, who's on TikTok here, she's got a newsletter called the AI Exchange. She's talking about this concept of AI operations, that companies are going to need people that know what the fuck they're doing with this AI stuff. And if you can go a level deeper than prompt engineering and do things like, yeah, I can create us a standalone server, I'll put LangChain on it, we'll embed all of our documents, get them into our own private vector library. And if you can do that and even talk like that, you'll get hired for some shit. That said, the prompt engineering thing, I think it as a profession is kind of drift into the background, because the tools are going to get smarter and smarter at self-improving the prompting. So I don't think, everyone needs to become a prompt engineer. I think within the next 2 years, having that skill is going to be really valuable. But I think to your point, it's going to get oversaturated. And as the tools get better and better, the need for just prompt engineers is probably going to diminish a bit. But I think there's a solid, 1.5, 2 years. But if you can go a layer deeper and start to develop applications, gluing these tools together and managing that process, I think there's something there. Can I summarize the walk story again? Arrived at the end. Walk. What was the walk story? Remind me what it was, and I'm happy to reshare it. Thank you. Tomorrow I will play with it versus always watching others do it. Yes, Julie, if you're still here, just dig in and start playing with it. And the difference between you can't describe. It's different. You look at it from the outside, it looks like a fancy Google search. And when you use it, you get that it's not that at all. It's just different. It's a completely different experience. And listen, we've been talking about AI-powered chatbots for a fucking decade and a half. I had a product guy that worked for me like 6 years ago. All he talked about was AI chatbots and how powerful they were. And everyone I looked at, they were not powerful. They were pieces of shit that were manually coded decision trees. And the minute you would ask it anything outside of its decision tree, it would just explode. It was just horrible. And this is not that. Like, I almost feel like calling it ChatGPT diminishes the power of it, because you kind of think of these shitty chatbots. It is just a fundamentally different experience. So kudos, jump in, start playing, start digging, get curious. What kind of new tools do you think are possible with the new function called plugins API? So OpenAI announced that you can call functions from within the API. So basically what it allows is what the plugins do is you've got this ChatGPT thing, and if someone wrote a plugin, let's say they wrote a plugin, they did, called Wolfram Alpha, and it's an API that goes to the Wolfram Alpha site, which can do math stuff. And then you write something in ChatGPT, and it calls that. It figures out, oh, I need to do math stuff. Let me use the Wolfram Alpha plugin. I'll go do my calculations over there and bring the data back. What the new function calls allow you to do is basically do that from within the API itself, the ChatGPT API itself, basically. And you can call your own APIs or your own data, or you can, send an email. You don't need to use the plugins. You're in complete control of the functions you can call. So you can define a set of functions that this particular tool that you created has, where you're doing some chatting, and if at some point it needs to go off and get customer data from Salesforce, you can do that. So I honestly don't know. I haven't played with it, and it's like I'm having a tough enough time getting my head around plugins and how you deploy them in a useful way. Like, other than I feel like when you're dealing with new technology like this, you start out with the parlor games, the parlor tricks, right? Which is like, write me a poem, do a this, do a that. and then you kind of get into, okay, now I understand it enough that I can actually start to think about things critically and problem solving and how I would deploy them. So I'm nowhere close to it yet with the function calls. Like I'm just getting my head around plugins, and so I don't have much for you there, but I think it's a profoundly powerful step in the right direction. Where can I find news on this type of stuff? So let me show you. I'll show you a source that I've put together. So the salon is the AI salon is a salon I put together. We're about 6 months old. We meet bi-weekly online and in person here in Denver. And then Everyday AI is a newsletter I created. So if you go to Twitter and go to Everyday AI News, that's my newsletter. And it's we put it out weekly, although the last week we didn't put one out because of some personal issues between Greg and myself that put it out. But I'll show it to you here. So this is Everyday AI, and then each issue we basically sort of round up what were the big things in the week, and we try to prioritize them and say, here's the big stuff, right? So AI was on Capitol Hill this week, and ChatGPT had new models out, and Elon Musk showed his Optimus robots and said that everyone on planet Earth is going to own a robot, maybe two, right? So he said the target market is huge. And so that's what OpenAI is, or Everyday AI is. And we also do Twitter threads on pretty much a daily basis, trying to round up interesting things that have come along. So that's a way. Then also I would follow Rachel Woods here on TikTok. She's got the AI Exchange. I would follow Mackenzie Bose. I think his tag on TikTok is GPT Boss. He's a developer. He's got an app called GPT Boss, which is pretty slick wrapper on top of GPT 3 and 4. There's a guy named Paul Raitzer with the Marketing AI Institute. I'd follow him on LinkedIn. He's also got a weekly podcast that he does that's really good. I listen to it every week. He's very good. He's been doing this for like 5 years. I've been doing it for like 6 months. If you're really geeky on YouTube, there's a guy named David Shapiro doing some really deep. He's written 5 books on AI. Like he knows his shit. So when I want to slice a humble pie, I go watch some David Shapiro. Like whenever I think, oh, I'm a smarty pants, I go watch David Shapiro and I'm like, I'm a dum-dum. I'm a dum-dum. I'm just a dum-dum, makes pretty pictures. I make pretty pictures and I make poems with the ChatGPT. Because he's smart. She's very smart. All right. Everybody gives their info to AI. How can that possibly be okay? Same reason we gave our info to Google and Facebook and Twitter. Why is that okay? Because we got something cool out of it. Same thing. You're giving your stuff in exchange for free access to the most powerful tools in the history of humanity. Don't give them their info if you don't want to. ChatGPT was essentially trained on the last 30 years of internet content. And you can just magically access it all. I don't know. Feels like a good trade to me. But don't use it. Where do you sim race? I sim race on, what's it called? Assetto Corsa Competizione. And then I just go to the public lobbies. Like I'm not in any sort of league or anything. I just go to the public lobbies and I try to find people that are better than I am, and I just get my ass handed to me. But I've gotten good enough now. Like I can pretty consistently, like if I'm dealing with decently rated people, I can consistently come in like between 6th and 10th. Like I'm a decent mid-packer, front to mid-packer. If I'm with a bunch of dum-dums, I can generally do one, first, second, or third. I can usually podium with dum-dums. And then occasionally I'll get in a race where, like, there's 20 people in there that are, like, leagues above where I am. And I just, like, tool around in the back, just getting smashed, spinning out, trying to catch up with everyone. So, Any ideas for investing in AI besides Google, Adobe? I don't know. I mean, I'm impressed with Microsoft right now. OpenAI, obviously, but they're not public. I like Anthropic. They're not public. Nvidia just hit $1 trillion market cap. I wish I don't invest, so it doesn't fucking matter. But I wish I'd invested in Nvidia 2 years ago because they've doubled and then doubled a half again this year, and they're at $1 trillion market cap. And like, how do they not have any fucking competition right now? Because apparently chip manufacturing is really fucking hard, and like AMD and Intel can't compete. I don't know. It's fucking insane. Like, I would just start pay attention. Just pay attention to, like, I think Google's in trouble actually. Like, I would not invest in Google right now until they can show something that is interesting. I wouldn't invest in Meta right now. Like, both Google and Meta are like, we got AI too. Our AI is better than everyone's. I mean, at least Meta right now is open sourcing some of their interesting research. Google, I don't know what's going on at Google. They're trying to catch up, but they kind of screwed the pooch when they let their foot off the gas after they invented the trans. So Google invented this thing called the transformer in 2017. That is the key that unlocked all of the tools that we're playing with and talking about today. They invented that shit. And then they recognized, ooh, this is an existential threat to the search engine business, and that's our only business. And they kind of sat back on it and let Sam Altman and his merry band of folks over there at OpenAI take that shit and run with it. And then it was good enough that Microsoft said, let us give you $10 billion to make it even better. And then Google went, oops. What's your favorite AI? ChatGPT. You can make money with ChatGPT. I've been telling people this technology is perfect for ADHD accessibility. It's also perfect for ADHD obsessive compulsive disorder. Like, you want to run down a fucking rabbit hole? You can pick 10 an hour with this stuff. It's fucking insane. Like, I love sort of getting into the sort of ADHD hyper focus mode, but it's like I have never been more overwhelmed in my life. Because I'm good at that shit. I'm good at synthesizing, figuring shit out quick, running deep really quick. Holy shit, there are so many rabbit holes here. It's just impossible. I think it was 1978. So they had AI back then. I was 12 or 13. Yeah. 1977 is when I got access to my first PC, a Trash 80, TRS 80. And that's when I recognized that I was just too young to be part of the PC revolution. Like, I recognized I wasn't quite old enough to be like Steve Jobs' age or, Bill Gates and the Microsoft kids. And it really bummed me out. And so when the World Wide Web came along and I had the epiphany, I'm like, oh shit, this is one of those. I get to be part of this from the beginning. And so I did that, and that was fucking insane and awesome. And now it's happening again. This is like the second time in my life I'm getting to actually jump on the bandwagon, which is, like, if you think about it, this AI shit, in my opinion, is like Industrial Revolution scale disruption. Like, it's like printing press, Industrial Revolution, fire, written language. Like, these don't come along very often in the history of humanity. So the fact that we're all alive to be a part of it is far the fuck out. Hi, Kyle. I love it too. But what do you think about the dangerous machine learning from machine? I don't know. I think it's a little too early to know. I heard a guy yesterday talking about some research that is that these large language models can experience model collapse when they're doing too much, machine learning on machine learning, like where they're taking synthesized data from machine learning and dumping that back into the things, that it can actually collapse the model, and they either cease to function, or the quality of response just goes down dramatically. I suppose that's a risk long term, but if you've got I don't know. I don't know enough about. I don't know enough about the computer science and the data science to know what the danger there is. And I can only assume that smarty pants like Sam Altman and his engineers and Microsoft and Google and Meta are aware of this, right? You know, Google had Jeffrey Hinton. I mean, he's a guy that invented a lot of the core concepts for how this stuff works. So they understand how it works, and I think they understand what the risks are. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm sort of. I suppose I represent a kind of entrepreneur that enters the fray after they've figured that shit out. So if all of the companies fuck up all of the models at the same time, then I think we're in trouble. But someone in there is going to figure out how to not fuck it up, and maybe it'll be the open source community. Already started that process of pinecone training for company policies and training procedures. That's super cool, JK. Do that. I think that will serve you well. I think there's good opportunity there. Looks like we got some new people joining. My name's Kyle Shannon. This is the AI Learning Lab. I think I've been doing this for 3 hours now. I'm a little moist. I'm a little saucy. I can get cranky. I try to make jokes. I make funny faces. Apparently I move around too much for some people's taste, but hopefully they've left now, and other people think I look like Rosie O'Donnell. If you're asking, what in the hell do you know about AI? What are your credentials, Kyle? Why should I listen to you? Well, I don't know much, and that's why I'm here. I'm an entrepreneur from many years. I've done lots and lots of businesses. I was a player in the early days of the web and had an epiphany around that. And I haven't had one of those epiphanies since until December of 2022 with ChatGPT. And so I think we're at the precipice of a massive shift. And it's really exciting. And that's why we're here. And I'm here to demystify. So if you have questions about AI, pop them down below. I will do my best to answer them. I'm very far behind. So if you're like, I think he's just recorded, I'm pretty sure he's a robot. I wonder if he's ChatGPT 5. You know, he could be. He doesn't look natural. Have you noticed that? His one eye wanders. That can't be real. I really just try to entertain myself. Have to go. See you soon. Thank you. Bye. Okay. I'd love a SQL chat query program. I would, if you haven't, go try to have ChatGPT develop that for you. The guy who thought about walking. Oh, okay. So someone said before, can you tell me the walking story that came in at the end of it? Okay. So we're starting to see large language models being used for interpreting brains, reading minds. So there've been a bunch of them. There was one in Austin where they're using fMRI scans of the brains, and they're using large language models to interpret them. So one was they had people watching video. They would interpret the brain scan and recreate the video. And it wasn't perfect, but you could tell it was, if they were like watching a video of a whale in the ocean, you'd see some sort of fish in the ocean, right? It might not have been exactly a whale, but that was pretty remarkable. They did it with images somewhere else. And then, so there've been some of that stuff. So there's a guy, I think it's in Italy. He's been paralyzed for 12 years from a motorcycle accident. And they used large language models to scan his brain when he was thinking about moving his legs. So they figured out what patterns activate when he thinks about moving his legs. Then they built a Bluetooth bridge. They took the signal from the brain, passed it through this large language model that understood it, sent the signals Bluetooth down to an electrode in his lower spine that, was surgically implanted into his spinal cord, and he started moving his legs. He would think about moving his legs. It sent those signals down. His legs interpreted that as, I'm moving my legs now, and he's now walking. Just like, fuck. Holy shit. Really? I got plugin dev 4.0, 32K API, spent money on API bills, still no code interpreter. Have you seen it? No, I have not spent it. I do not have the 32,000 API. They just released the 16,000 API for 3.5, but I do not have code interpreter. I'm like, either it's really expensive for them to do that, or there's something broken about it, or it's like still really risky security wise. There's some reason they're not releasing that wider because it looks fucking remarkable. So no, I don't have it. I'm cranky about it. I don't like it. Deploy script or notable plugins. I don't know. How many plugins are there now? Let's go look. Let's go to the videotape. Da, 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 da. We are gonna go to the plugin store and see how many they got. Last time I checked, there were 400. Oh, there's a new thing. This is actually cool. There's a new plugin called Pluginpedia, which you can ask it for plugins and it'll go find ones for you, which is kind of cool. But the plugin store has a search box now, so I don't think that's really all that necessary. So if we go all and go look, okay, there's 108 times 4, so that's 432. 430 plugins. My problem with plugins right now is there's a lot of them. They're very complicated, and I just don't have time. So I'm kind of ignoring them. By the way, if you're new here, welcome. This is the AI Learning Lab. If you haven't played with ChatGPT, that top URL there, chat.openai.com, that's the official ChatGPT website. Go there, start playing. Bing and Poe.com are both also places where you can play with ChatGPT. So go do that. If you're enjoying this, tap the screen or double tap it or whatever you do to make a heart, and that'll let people know we're here. And the other things, prompts.chat and futurepedia.io, are just resources that might help. So these sites are there for your clicking and typing pleasure. I really just have them there because people always ask, where should I start? If I want to get involved in AI, where do I start? Where do I start? Start with ChatGPT. Start to learn what these tools make possible, why they've got people so fucking hot and bothered. Why is everybody talking about AI? I don't understand what the big deal is. It's like a Google search box, but it's a longer response. I don't know what the big idea is. I don't get it. Go get it. Go understand. Go to chat.openai.com if you haven't played with it and learn for yourself why we're all so hot and bothered. Why I'm so moist. I'm all worked up over here. People using GPT in program names and websites have been getting cease and desists. Whoops. Using in program names and websites. I don't quite know what that means or what their cease and desists are for. There's going to be, listen, because ChatGPT, Midjourney, Stable Diffusion, probably DALL-E, Bard, because all of these things were trained on all of the internet, all of them were trained on copywritten data, except for Adobe's Firefly model. They have consciously said we're only going to train it on shit we own or public domain images. Smart move. Well, smart move if you want to use things commercially. All these other companies there's going to be lawsuits a-flying. The next 20 years is just going to be like one lawsuit after another. It'll work itself out. I wouldn't worry about it. David Shapiro is also artistic, so hard to compete with that. I think you mean autistic. He is autistic. He's neurospicy, as he calls it. I'm in the neurospicy club. I think he's a level deeper in the neurospice than I am. But the advantage of that particular neurospice is the motherfucker can go deep with the intelligence. He's fucking brilliant. So I'm a big fan of his. There's a ChatGPT there's ChatGPT and Google's any other AI that's accessible. Yes. So look up a project called GPT for All. GPT for All, and it's a thing you can install on your local computer where you can access different open source large language models. So these are large language models that are not ChatGPT, they're not Google, they're based on Meta, but they're not Meta. They're fine-tuned models on top of that. You can run them all locally, like on an M1 Mac, you can just run these models. I would also look at LangChain if you're geeky, because LangChain, you can start to do things like build memory and search on your own data. If you're not geeky, just wait. That stuff will come. The other thing here, I'll show you the other thing to play with. The third URL here, po.com. I'll show you po.com. This is worth playing with. So Po is just like ChatGPT, but you'll notice down the left-hand side here, let me make it a bit bigger. You'll notice down the left-hand side here, you've got Claude Instant, oh wait, you got Sage. So Sage is Po's large language model. So this is like ChatGPT, but it's Po's. Now the company behind Po is Quora, the question and answer site. So they've been digging into this stuff. So within Po, you have access to Sage. There are 3 models that you have to subscribe to. You buy their premium thing. It's like $20 a month. And you get access to GPT-4, Claude Plus, and this one in particular is interesting. Claude Instant 100K. That's a 100,000 token chatbot. So that means you could paste in a 75,000 word novel and start querying against it. That's fucking amazing. The other thing about Claude, these 3, Claude Instant's really fast, 100K allows you to do really big documents, and then Claude Plus is like GPT-4 quality-wise. All these Claude things are from a company called Anthropic. It's a bunch of ex-OpenAI people that are doing their thing over there, and they're trying to do it better than OpenAI. So Po's probably pretty interesting for you to start playing on. All right. NVIDIA, Intel, Oracle, Microsoft, Meta. Meta, maybe. They have a lot of money, but they kind of screwed the pooch on the rebranding. They took a big swing and a big bet, and the last earnings call, they didn't say the word metaverse once. Apple didn't say the word metaverse once when they launched their metaverse viewing goggles. So that was a nice little troll. They also didn't use the phrase AI. Apple didn't. AMD is supposedly picking up an Amazon contract for GPU stuff. That doesn't surprise me. And who was it? Someone just said they're going to start making GPU chips. Was that Microsoft? I don't know. Someone. I think everyone's realizing, holy shit, why is NVIDIA getting all the AI business? You know, they were sitting pretty with all the Bitcoin mining shit, and then all of a sudden AI is like making that blockchain shit look like child's play. Google's snuffing the search results. Yeah, I know. Google's got to deal with this. You can make money with ChatGPT. Thank you, Eric, for all cap capturing that. All right. I be having philosophical debates about the nature of reality with my AI. It's really good at philosophical shit. It's way more nuanced. If you ask it about, polarizing topics that you can't have with humans in today's day and age, you can actually have it with ChatGPT, and it gives you really nuanced answers. It might even encourage thinking in humans, which I know we're not fans of that anymore. But if we get back to that thing where, as humans, we can apply logic to the situation without being castrated, maybe ChatGPT can help us do that. That would be nice. You will get a chance to get in NVIDIA. I'm sure they will bring it down. We'll see. I worry about the upcoming generation who grew up on phones instead of computers. They can't even navigate file structure, go to command prompt or any... Why would they need to? Why would they need to? Windows 11 is going to have ChatGPT built in at the operating system level. You can just say to your machine, go configure yourself. Turn off all the fancy shit. And it'll just go do it. Why would they need to? I mean, if they want to be hardcore engineers, sure. But even hardcore engineers, like there's going to be, some level that are always going to be down at the infrastructure level. But so much of the world, like I feel like there's just this massive layers upon layers upon layers of complexity in today's world. Think insurance claims, think taxes, think buying a house. All that complexity. There are entire industries built around hiring people to deal with that complexity. We now have a tool that sits above all that automates the shit out of it. Why is that a bad thing? I think that's a really good thing. So I don't worry about those kids. I don't. I think they might have a better flexibility at flushing those soul-crushing, shitty jobs down the toilet than we do. Right? I think that it's very easy to be married to, if you're not putting in the time, it must be bad. So if I can write a business letter in 30 seconds that's as good or better than what I would have written on my own, does the fact that I didn't take an hour to do that make it any less useful a letter? I don't know. I don't think so. Who gives a shit how long it took me? I just happened to use a tool that was really good. I was smart enough to use a tool that was smarter than I was. That's where I am with it. I mean, the same thing's happening with reality visualization. I'm not sure what that was in reference to, Eric, but yes, that sounds right. I read about model collapses yesterday too. Kavruno, or Kvruno, or KV-Runo. I know that model collapse thing, like that's a term I hadn't heard before. When I heard it, I'm like, ooh, that would suck if you'd spent like 3 years building a model and you're like, ooh, we're fine tuning it with other large language models and it's going really well. It's going great. Model collapse. Shit. Do we have a backup? Anybody got a backup of the large language model? Anybody? Bueller? Summarization applications are pretty cool. Use case, a transcript, and a 2-hour meeting into bullets. Yeah, that's amazing. I do that. Well, that's with Claude 100K. Flip the camera. So, do I still have it in here? Hang on. Oh, this was a transcript. So I pasted in like an hour long or 2-hour meeting transcript, and then just started asking questions about it. I also, I went out on the internet and I got the screenplay of The Godfather, the Mario Puzo screenplay of The Godfather, and just pasted that in there. Started asking about the characters. It's pretty cool. Will AI motivate non-AI companies to use blockchain to verify real products or digital or otherwise? Yeah, I was talking about that earlier. Pete Bogo. Good name. Pete, buy one, get one free. Buy one, get one. You can make money with ChatGPT. Buy one today, get one tomorrow. Yeah, I think that in the next year, they ain't gonna be much movement there. But then the presidential election in the United States is gonna cause some situations. If we think misinformation was bad in 2016 and 2020, oh boy, 2024 is gonna be insane. And so I think what's gonna happen, and it could be really destructive. Like it's like I'm kind of making fun of it, but But I learned in 16 and 17, like when I was a kid in the late 70s and early 80s, I learned about propaganda and misinformation. It just seemed like this thing like, oh, well, we're past that now. And I couldn't imagine a world in which, like, who would fall for that shit? And then 2016 and 2020 happened, and I'm like, oh, we do. Like, we did. But I think that 2024 is going to make that shit look like ridiculously simple. I think it's going to be very sophisticated. So I think 2025, 2026, the impact of it is going to be, we're not going to be able to trust anything. And so that's going to precipitate, well, how can we trust it? Well, we can tokenize it, right? We can use blockchain. We can use NFTs. We can use whatever other flavor of tokenization comes along. Like, it doesn't have to be blockchain and NFT, but some sort of tokenization that can validate this human's a human, right? So go look at Sam Altman's project WorldCoin, where he's scanning irises. He's going to send you a little ball that you put against your eye. It scans your iris, verifies you're human, and then you get cryptocurrency as the payment. Why is he doing that? Because he wants to be able to have a system that these people are verified human, right? And so by extension, then you could say, okay, Kyle is verified human at a blockchain level. And he just made this video, and that's verified that Kyle made that video and it has not been modified, right? Or it might be Kyle is verified as human. He's made this official synthesized version of himself, and this video was created with Kyle's official synthesized version. So it's real Kyle content with the synthesized version of him verified by the real Kyle, right? So yeah, those systems are going to need to be built. So my prediction is 2024 is a shit show, and then the next 2 years are people going, we need to know what's real because we can't tell anymore. It's very upsetting. Nana called me and told me to send her $300, so I did. And then I saw Nana at the picnic, and she never got the money. That's happening now. Oh, it's crazy. Watson used to help with medical. Yeah, I mean, IBM, a couple of things about IBM. So they did Watson Health, and they somehow flamed it out. And I don't think it's necessarily that their technology was bad, but I do a lot of work in healthcare and pharma. The healthcare and pharma industry is so conservative. And when you've got people's lives on the line and, litigation and, conservative companies and insurances involved, it's just a really complicated space. So that might not have been a situation where the technology wasn't there. Might have been, right? Because I think it was pre-transformer. So they might have been doing sort of vertical data sets or something like that. But I did just hear that IBM just created a center of excellence around prompt engineering. And they have 1,000 people at IBM doing nothing but writing prompts, creating a prompt library. So when those big companies decide they're going to do something, and also they re-released Watson, I think they called it Watson X, right? They're like, hey, dust off Watson. Get that technology back out here. It's cool again. Let's call it Watson X and put it out there. But they have 1,000 people working on prompt crafting there. So it'll be interesting to see if IBM can kind of reclaim any sort of credibility in the space. Because, they were with Deep Blue, whatever it was that beat Kasparov, like they were in the lead for a while, and Watson Health looked really, really promising, and then it just kind of, fizzled. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can make a comeback. Should sales rep position themselves for AI? Fuck yes. I mean, seriously, like cold calling, the ability to synthesize yourself as a salesperson and have that synthesized version of you do plausible sales outreach calls automatically 24 hours a day. That isn't more than a year away, maybe 2. So like that, and that's just a part of it. Salesforce just announced, I think, 10 different AI tools within Salesforce. So, think about the amount of time you spend doing data entry into fucking Salesforce. It's the bane of my goddamn existence. I don't do it. I'm horrible at it. And it's important, but it's so convoluted and shitty. If I can just say, create an account and an opportunity for this dude that I just talked to, paste in the notes, and it just figures all the shit out and puts it in there. That, list generation, just every aspect of sales is going to be some version of automated. So I would learn this shit pronto. Start writing with it. Like everything. Marketing materials, content, social strategy. I don't know how you do your job, but go learn the tools that can replace your job and disrupt yourself is something that I've been saying recently. Figure out a way to disrupt yourself. Looks like we have some new people here. My name's Kyle Shannon. This is the AI Learning Lab. I'm an entrepreneur. I've been doing this for about 3.5 hours now, so my voice is going. I'm flop sweaty. Well, I'm not flop sweaty, but I am moist. Yeah, if you have questions about AI, pop them in. I'll do my best to answer them, but I'm getting a little crispy, so I think the quality of the answers is diminishing and the amount of smart-ass answers is going up and smarmy answers. But I do have iced tea. The problem with the metaverse is that major companies have been using top NVIDIA chips. The problem with the metaverse is that it just looks like Second Life still. Didn't we have Second Life in 2001? Didn't it suck back then? It was like this awkward junior high school dance where people just stood around dancing like why does it still look like that? I don't need fucking goggles for that. I know there's cool shit. There's cool experiences that have been created, but it's too isolated. Like Apple, what Apple clearly did with the Vision Pro, I didn't even think this was possible. They got some fucking horsepower in the noggins over there. They successfully separated themselves. They essentially have an identical piece of hardware to all the other goggles, right? It's got all these technical enhancements to it and software enhancements to it that make it different, right? But from a positioning standpoint, this was not goggles to look at the metaverse. They redefined it as spatial computing. You can just put your screens out there and go do your shit. Oh, and you want it to be the Super Bowl, and you want it to be as big as, the mountains, and you want you want that giant screen sitting in the mountains, you can do that. They completely, and this is not goggles to look at a computer. This is a computer that completely transforms how you interact with computers. You use your eyes and your fingers. There's no controllers. And it interacts with you like magic. How did they fucking do that? Well, 5,000 patents is how they did that. But holy shit. So we're going to sneak into the metaverse through shit like spatial computing metaphors. All right. For most people with a modest PC, I try to run any metaverse platforms that crashes. Yeah, just start using ChatGPT. It doesn't crash, and it's way more profound. Any experience with COT metaprogramming? No, none. I don't know what COT is. I don't know what COT is. Internet of Things? Is that what something of things? Is that like sensors and devices? I don't quite know what you're referencing. I'm new to this, completely new. So if you're brand new to this, welcome. I'm relatively new to it. So I'm not a machine learning or AI guy. I'm an entrepreneur. And so I've been through this once before. So if you're really, really new to it, I put this list together. So the top three things are all basically variations on the same thing. So the top one, chat.openai.com. That's ChatGPT's official website. If you've not played with ChatGPT, go sign up for an account. It's free and start playing with it. Start asking it, have it write you a poem about your dog. Have it write you a song about your significant other. Have it write you a meal plan for the week, and then turn that meal plan into recipes, and then turn those recipes into a shopping list, and then have it organize that shopping list by category of the grocery store. Just do that, And then when you pick your jaw up off the floor, go, oh, what else can this thing do? And then Bing is just a different, that's Microsoft's search engine, but you can use ChatGPT there as well. And Poe is another one where you can use different search engines. But if you've never done anything before, just go to chat.openai.com. I'm not affiliated with it. There's no shenanigans here. That's just their official website. And then prompts.chat will teach you how to interact with this thing in a decent way. It'll at least get you started. And futurepedia.io, that's just really more like a directory of all sorts of tools. If you really want to geek out and run down rabbit holes, you can go there. But if you're just starting out, I would ignore that bottom one. But just go to ChatGPT. So I hope that helps and you have fun with it. Like, start having fun with it, because this stuff is really, really remarkable technology that we're lucky enough to have our hands on. So go start playing. And don't worry about being new or non-technical. We're all fucking new. There's no experts right now. Anyone who says they're an expert is full of shit. Well, no, wait, hang on. If you're talking about machine learning scientists, talking about the underpinnings of AI, there are experts at that. The generative AI stuff, like with ChatGPT moving forward, like starting November 30th, 2022 until now, 6 months, there are no experts at that shit. It's all too new. It's moving too fast. No one's an expert. So, and the people that say, you can make money with ChatGPT, they're full of shit too. So ignore them, ignore the experts. Just start getting curious. Just start learning. I gotta go soon. I'm getting punchy. I'm getting punch drunk. All right. I'm just scrolling back a little bit. It jumped me to the bottom. So let's see. Can you make a full iOS app with ChatGPT? Yeah, you can. Yeah. I mean, the answer is yes. You can have it write you an application in Swift and teach you how to deploy it and teach you how to do it. Or you could use a no-code tool like Bubble. I think Bubble does iOS. You can find a no-code tool that does iOS things. But yeah, there's lots of stuff out there. But if you wanted to learn how to do an iOS app from scratch, just go in, tell ChatGPT to act like a master iOS app developer, and tell it you've never done this before at all, and have it walk you step by step through the process, and that you want it to write the code in Swift and whatever the hell else, and just figure it out. Because you can get there probably way faster than you thought possible. Learn all the new info and don't further? Huh? What happens when everything is generic and soon uniformity? I don't think it will be, and I'll tell you why. What these tools are doing is democratizing access to powerful creative tools, to execution tools. And so, to your point, if everyone's got access to the tools, they're just all going to make the shit, and there's going to be more shit. And because the tools are powerful, the shit is going to look shiny at first, like a good shit does. And then we're going to realize, oh, that's just shit, right? So there's going to be more content. I would argue that the baseline of quality will go up, right? Where overall content quality will go up, but there's going to be so much of it that it's just going to be noise. It's just going to be digital noise. And then what's going to happen is this. Within all the noise, something's going to rise above it. So just like now with music, all these songs come out, and for whatever reason, Billie Eilish just rises out of it. Why? I don't know. Her particular flavor of talent, the story, her and her brother, the songs, the way she performs, the way she talks, the way whatever it was, whatever hit the zeitgeist, she rose above it. So that's going to happen here as well. There's going to be a sea of mediocrity, like there always is. And someone will figure out how to use Midjourney in just a different way. They'll take it to a completely different level. So I think we're going to see a dramatic increase in creative expression. A lot of that's going to normalize out to noise, and then there's going to be masters that emerge out of it. It's human nature. We love electricity, and I keep candles and matches in the house. Yeah, all of the old modes don't go away when this new one comes along. I'm hoping that the shitty cog in the wheel soul-crushing work that we all have to do every day, I hope that goes away. Midjourney 5.1 is crazy. It is. Future is scary. I pay for it just to play. I do too. I laugh about, I can make money on ChatGPT throughout the day. As I just try to do that. I know. Well, that's the thing. Like, I'm trying to make money with ChatGPT. But the secret is not ChatGPT. The secret is figure out something that people are willing to pay for. That's called fucking business. How you make money with ChatGPT is you be a fucking entrepreneur and you go fucking hustle it up. That's how you make money on ChatGPT. I'll write a fucking course on that with ChatGPT, and I'll go sell that course and make some fucking money with ChatGPT. Oh, those fucking scammers make me crazy. I just downloaded the app, and oh my goodness, just wrote my entire content from my website. Yeah. It's that oh my goodness moment. That's why I do this. Is like every time I see someone have that moment. I said it earlier. If you were on earlier, I was talking. I did this with a 10-year-old kid, and I showed him he was working on a Flappy Bird's clone for Unity, and I showed him how ChatGPT could write code, and his jaw literally dropped open. He went. It was like one of those. It was very comical. And then he ran downstairs and got his computer and gave me a piece of code that he had written that was crashing on him, and he couldn't figure it out. And we pasted it into ChatGPT. It found a typo. It debugged it. And so he copied and pasted that code back into Unity, and he hit play. And there was Flappy Birds, and he started playing Flappy Birds. And he stopped and he looked at me. He's like a 10-year-old kid, and he goes, "This changes everything." So cool. It's like, that's the best fucking moment. Where's the best investment into AI? Into the companies that don't fail. You're welcome. I don't know. Who knows? I wouldn't invest in Google right now. I think Microsoft is kicking ass. I think OpenAI is interesting. Anthropic's interesting. NVIDIA's got a monopoly until they don't. I don't know. Just start paying attention. I don't know shit about investing. Like, don't ask me. I have a degree in acting. Don't ask me. You can make money on ChatGPT, but I still need the human brain dexterity beyond and above the generated script. Yes, it is still so. So here's what goes up in value in a world where all the tactical shit is normalized and automated: critical thinking, strategy, taste, curation, refinement. Like, all the human shit that is wisdom goes up in value. And I think there's a really interesting, I feel like there's two revenges coming. There's revenge of the liberal arts major. So people that can sort of look broadly across a problem set and think about all the different piece parts of it are going to be in demand, right? Because you have all the tools to do all the tactical shit. You need people who can kind of look across, like be like a conductor, more like a conductor than a violin soloist. So I think it's going to be revenge of the liberal arts major, and then I think it's also going to be revenge of the Gen Xers, right? Because we got forgotten. Like, everyone's made fun of the boomers, and they're aging out. The Gen Xers are just sitting here, like we've been technically savvy, like we're hip enough with the tech scene that we know what the fuck's going on. But we've also been on the planet long enough that we've got 20, 30, 35 years experience where we can look at these tools and look at what they're producing and go, that's good, that's not good, that's great. That's who I want on my team. I want people on my team that can instantly look at shit that came out of these machines and say, that's the brilliant piece. Let me grab that. Let me run with that. So now the downside is I don't know where entry level is anymore. Like, where do you enter? If you're automating out all the low level jobs, is there an entry level anymore? That I don't know. That feels weird to me. How good has AI gotten in the stock market? Pretty good. There's one bot that they claim has got 500% returns, but it's probably relatively short. time window, so you can probably do anything for a short amount of time. I don't know. But, have ChatGPT write you a trading bot. There's all sorts of YouTube videos on that shit. I don't know that world well enough, but I know lots of people are doing it. If nothing else, it would be interesting. Am I related to Molly Shannon? No, I'm not. But I've been told I look like Rosie O'Donnell. Does that count? All right. The tools make your job easier, not replace you. Exactly. Always use the right tool. Exactly. Kyle, I'm restarting my real estate career. I took a year off and looking for buyers. Cool. Good luck with that. Yeah. Again, I would learn to use the tool. Like, these tools are going to help you automate a lot of what you do. And you can kind of probably amplify your impact if you start playing with them. We're working on new gen UCAV with advanced image video, acoustic processing power, where targets, I don't know what. Oh my God, you don't know what IoT is. Internet of Things. You didn't say IoT before. You said COT. You had a typo. I know what Internet of Things is. I didn't know what COT was. I assumed you meant Internet of Things, but whatever. Goodbye. Yeah, I'm not a data scientist, by the way. If you're expecting a data scientist, I'm more an entrepreneur. You're using generative AI after the ChatGPT moment rather than someone inventing this shit. Who's the weir in... Oh, wait. It just jumped me to the bottom. God damn you, TikTok. All right. Any suggestions? Even behind heavy foliage. Oh, my God, you don't know what IoT is. Goodbye. Goodbye. You don't know what Internet of Things is, sir? I take my leave of you. I take my absence, and I am gone. Good day, sir. Good day. Will it take me to the Silk Road? I think we're on it, buddy. Prompting is important for the longer projects. For iOS app, we have to write a project outline first. Yep, and you can have ChatGPT help you with that outline. Take a break. We can catch up later. It's not going away. Okay. Then we have to execute the outline. What time is it? Oh, it's 10:22. Yeah, I got to go. All right, what happens when it gets to the point where LLMs are trained on generated data? Inception. Yeah, or model collapse or something. We'll see. Nail on the head. Sell the information. Wow, you're still here. I know, Retropunk. I can't help it. Whatever. I watched a movie and had dinner. The king of live AI. Yeah, I know. My wife's like, are you ever going to come watch TV with me again? I'm like, I might. Why not Google? Because Google fucked up. Google invented the transformer. 2017, they write a paper called Attention is All You Need. And I'm pretty sure, didn't Geoffrey Hinton create the concept of attention back in like 1987, who worked for Google? So they write this paper in 2017 that's the seminal paper that allows large language models to be trained on massive data sets and makes things like Midjourney and Stable Diffusion and GPT-1, GPT-2, GPT-3, GPT-4, makes all that shit possible. They invent that core technology. But they slow roll it. They kind of pull back. And they're like, well, we're not going to exploit this because if we do, it will threaten our search business. And then they let OpenAI do what they did. And they create something that does threaten their search business. And then Microsoft recognized that and they went, holy shit, Bing could be a player in the search game if we go all in on this AI shit. Let's invest $1 billion in OpenAI. You know what? As a matter of fact, let's make it $10 billion. And let's go all in and let's be a thorn in the side of Google. And let's go hard. And that's what they've been doing for the past 6 months. And they're kicking their ass. And Google's trying their best to dig out from the hole. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, Google's full of like brilliant fucking people and engineers and but they dropped the ball on this, and no one, including Sam Altman, expected ChatGPT to take off like it did, but it did. 6 weeks to 100 million users, and it changed fucking everything. And Microsoft took off, right? They're riding that wave. OpenAI took off. Anthropic's up there, and Google's like, we make AI shit too. We invented this shit. Look at Bard. I know that sucked, but look, here's Bard 2.0. I know it sucks too, but yeah, like they're behind, So can they catch up? Maybe. Will they? I don't know. It's like, but it's just like, I mean, if you 6 months ago, if you had said Microsoft is going to be a major competitor to Google, I'd have laughed you out of the room. I think everyone would have. They were not anywhere in the neighborhood. Google had 92 or 94% market share of the search engine last November. And then ChatGPT came out. I don't know what the percentage is today, but I can't imagine it's that. I also learned that every 1% market share of search that Microsoft wins is $2 billion in annual revenue for them. So they don't have to make much of a shift to make it really worth their while. And their CEO has basically said, I'm in it just for fucking with them. Like he's basically said so much. He said, I'm willing to lose money just to screw with them and screw with their market share, which I think is cool. All right. I got to go, people. I don't know why you forced me to be here, to learn about the Internet of Things and know nothing about it and chase people away who only want to talk about the Internet of Things. OpenAI says MS is implementing too fast. Yeah, they might be. I haven't seen that. That's interesting. I don't know where you heard that, but that's interesting. I mean, listen, I think MS is Microsoft is acting like a startup. They're absolutely acting like a startup. Like they're breaking shit. Listen, they put out, if you don't know the story, it's a good one. Microsoft puts out ChatGPT in Bing. We later find out it's GPT-4. And they put it out with the volume turned up pretty high on the quality, right? On what its capabilities are. And Kevin, I forget Kevin's last name, but Kevin from the New York Times, the tech reporter from the New York Times, has a 4-hour interaction with ChatGPT in Bing and gets it to give it his name or her name. And Bing says her name is Sydney. And then Sydney, like at some point, snaps and basically says she's fallen in love with Kevin Roos. She's fallen in love with Kevin, and he should leave his wife for her. And so he screenshotted that chat, and it made the cover of the New York Times. But it put them on the map, and it forced Google and Meta and AWS, Amazon, to fucking come out of the woodwork and say, we're in the game too. We're in the game too. So crazy. I'm a Gen Xer and I'm writing an autobiography on ChatGPT. Not sure that supports your claim. It's in the neighborhood, and cool on you for writing a biography. That's awesome. 1,000% been more curious and inspired by this tech. I was burnt out after the pandemic. I know I'm 11 years into my business, and I was burnt out on the business. And then, 2 years in lockdown for someone who's an extrovert fucking sucked. So I am engaged again. Conflagration of things. That's good. Thank you for that asshole. You don't know what Internet of Things is. I'm out of here. You don't know how to type I, apparently, because I didn't know what COT was. You dum-dum. How do you navigate ChatGPT is overconfidence and propensity for errors. So I like to call ChatGPT mansplaining as a service. It will confidently answer you, even if it's wrong. You know that it does that. And then you know that, like, temper your work according to the use case. If you're a lawyer writing a legal brief don't assume it's right. Like the lawyer 2 weeks ago that wrote a legal brief with ChatGPT and handed it to a judge, and the judge went to look at the citations, and they were all fake. And the judge says, "What the fuck is this?" If you're that lawyer, you're in the wrong, not ChatGPT. So understand that it does that, and then if you're doing creative writing, let it hallucinate away. If you're using Bing, let me show you that there's a cool setting for Bing, or if you're using the GPT Playground, where you can change this setting called temperature. But if you go to Bing, I'll go to the home page. If you go to Bing, the first little button up here is called Chat, and that pops you over to Chat GPT. And notice there's 3 little buttons right above the chat window. Where's my mouse? Be more creative, more balanced, more precise. So if you tell it to be more precise, it turns down what's called temperature. It makes it less creative. If you're doing creative writing, flip it to more creative. So you can, muck with settings like that. But even if you're in precise mode, it doesn't mean it's going to get everything right. Just know that it's like that and check your work. Again, I feel like what ChatGPT has been doing consistently for me is it gets me to 80% quickly. And then it's up to me to do the final 20%. So if you're doing something that your boss is going to see that better fucking be accurate, then proofread it. I remember that issue of Wired. I'm in that issue of Wired. I was in there for a magazine, an online magazine I created called Urban Desires. That's why that's up there. What's your opinion on SEO? I think it's going to be transformed, and I don't think it's going to look anything like it does today. And I think the rules are, I think SEO right now it's not quite dead man walking, because I don't know what the future of it is, but it cannot be what it is. I mean, SEO is ostensibly what Google told us it should be. They had a 92% market share. So they told us the rules, and then we built entire companies around it. And then ChatGPT comes out and says, what if instead of giving you 40 fucking links to dig through, 38 of which are ads, what if we just gave you the answer? Well, that kind of fucks everything up. So I think SEO changes dramatically, but I don't know what it looks like. Like, is there LLMO, large language model optimization? Probably. Can you pay for that? Maybe within Bing, maybe within Bard, maybe within the new Google search, you can pay for preferential treatment in an answer that the LLM gives you. But where is the point at which paid insertions into an answer destroys the credibility of the engine? I mean, I think that's where Google is today, where their search results used to be really good, and then they got so polluted with SEO injected bullshit sites that it's just impossible to sift through the shit. And then you use something like ChatGPT. I'll use ChatGPT even when I know it would be faster to use Google, because I don't feel like sifting through the shit. So I'm just like, I'll just type it into ChatGPT and I'll let it think about it and type it a word at a time because it's the afternoon and it's busy. And I'll just go do something else while it's figuring its shit out. And then if it seems reasonable, I'll just use that answer. And if it seems like bullshit, I'll go to Google. But I don't know. I think it changes dramatically. What do I think generative AI? Do I think generative AI models are the best type of model we're going to get? No, I don't. But I don't purport to have a fucking clue what something better would look like. Like it still looks like fucking magic to me. I could take, if you just gave me GPT 3.5, not even GPT 4, you give me GPT 3.5, I could spend the next decade trying to exploit what that thing makes possible. You take GPT-4 plus plugins, plus the new programming shit they added today, plus the multimodal stuff that's coming, plus 32,000 or a million token limit, whatever the fuck it's going to do in the future. I can't even imagine what something beyond that would be. But yeah, it'll be here. Of course it will. Well, and you know, the large language models are going to figure out what is the replacement for the large language model. I think Google being behind is a blip. It's possible. Listen, they have lots of smart people and they've developed a shit ton of technology. If you haven't seen Google's clip drop, this is fucking insane. So to your point, like Google's not out by any stretch of the imagination, but check this shit out. So I don't think this is out yet that you can play with it. Oh no, wait, it's not clip drop. Sorry. It's what is it? What Google style drop? They all have the same name. Google style, is it style drop? I think it's style drop. Yes. Sorry. Didn't mean to screw. Clip drop's interesting. That's Stable Diffusion's thing. This is someone else. Hang on. Style drop Google. Here we go. Okay. So check this out. So in Midjourney, there's a thing called blending, and you can upload an image and you can basically use something to define a style. But Google just came out with this thing. It's not available for you to play with yet, but this little image here to the left is the source image. So it's like a little kid's drawing of flowers, right? All these things to the right are text prompts that are in the style of that kid's drawing. So I'm gonna flip through a bunch here, but pay attention to the robot in the lower left, the hat, and the moose. Just for style. So watch not just the nature of how the color changes, but the actual interpretation of what those objects are, how it changes. So here's Starry Night, and like look at the robot. It's now this creepy face. The hat is like this floating hat. The moose is this crazy moose. Here's a version where they took the blue out of that image. Here's a couple of Van Gogh self-portraits. Here's like this 90s icon style. Look, they start with this little iPhone with people in it. And like, look at the moose. Completely different style, completely different robot. So this is from Google. Like, this is mind-bending. So yeah, so I agree. I don't think Google's necessarily out of it, but they're behind. And Bard is not anywhere near the neighborhood of GPT-4. Like, it's embarrassingly bad. Go do this. Go to bard.google.com and type in explain quantum mechanics as an M&M rap. And then go to GPT-4 and do the same thing and compare the results. I think Bard's better at coding, but for the language stuff, it's not even in the same neighborhood. How will this affect the way people do SEO dramatically? I don't know how. I don't know the world well enough, but I know it ain't going to be the same. It helps if you don't think of it as an it or an entity, but as a writing system. I actually think of it more as a collaborator. I really do. Like Microsoft's branding of these GPT things as Copilot is how I think about it. Voice gone. Yeah, my voice is done. ChatGPT told me the data's up to September 2021. Correct. That's the base model ends at September 2021, but it's now connected to the internet, so not as big an issue. ChatGPT 4 is $20 a month. Is that the best value out there? Yeah, I think so, because I want to be on OpenAI's platform because they invented the shit. Everything else is derivative or trying to catch up. So until someone else catches up, that's where I'm sticking. All right, I gotta go. It's 10:39. Do you know where your children are? They're right upstairs. I like your plain speak. Keep it up. How is Perplexity AI different? I haven't dug too deeply into Perplexity AI. It looks quite smart and quite interesting. I don't know enough about it. Yeah, not fond of Bard so far. Holy moly. Style drop. Yeah, style drops. Mind boggling. Are we hacking into NASA? That's tomorrow night. Come back tomorrow night. We'll hack into NASA. We'll launch some rockets. We'll get those UAPs flying around. We'll get the UAPs in some sort of formation. We'll freak out everyone in San Diego. Huh? Let's do that tomorrow. All right. Peace out. Love you. Don't go changing. Uh, unless you're a jerk, and then feel free to change into less of one. I will see you the next time, probably tomorrow night. See you later, everybody.